The rain hit the glass window like countless bullets. The high-rise buildings outside the window were in ruins, and the afterimages of the neon lights were distorted into a strange green light in the acid rain. Junjie huddled in the corner of the office, leaning against the overturned desk and cabinet, clutching a screwdriver pried out of the drawer. It's the third week since the virus broke out, and he's still alive, surviving on cans and running water in the building. The air was filled with the stench of decay, vaguely mixed with the pungent smell of corroded metal. Damn weather. Junjie cursed in a low voice and rubbed his sore eyes. Outside the window, the streets that should have been bustling with traffic at midnight have now become hell. Those things, zombies, came like a tidal wave. They are not the clumsy monsters in the movies, but living people distorted by the virus. Their skin is ulcerated, their eyes are cloudy, and they move as fast as wild dogs. Junjie saw a small group of people emerge from the alley and pounce on a fallen figure. The man was still struggling, his screams drowned by the rain. Junjie's heartbeat quickened, and he quickly closed the old curtains to prevent the monsters from looking up and seeing the light. The building's air conditioning system had broken down long ago, and the indoor heat was as stifling as a steamer, but the acid rain outside was even more terrifying. The news said that the climate has collapsed, and the virus not only infects people, but also makes the weather crazy. It was a heat wave last night, it will turn into acid rain today, and there may be a snowstorm tomorrow. Junjie wiped his sweat and thought about how to break out of the encirclement. He is an engineer who specializes in mechanical modification. In the ruins, he tried to piece together simple weapons using office supplies, but in the face of the zombie wave, a screwdriver was nothing more than a toy. He stood up and decided to search the floor again. The elevator is broken, the stairwell is eerie, and you have to be careful about the broken glass under your feet every step you take. Junjie wore a mask he picked up from the laboratory and pushed open a half-open door. This is the R&D department's storage room, filled with prototype equipment. He rummaged through the box, thinking he might be able to find batteries or tools. Suddenly, a metal box caught his attention. Unlike other rusty things, this box has a smooth surface and a label that reads Prototype Climate Protection System, Confidential. What the hell is this? Junjie muttered to himself, prying open the lock carefully. Inside lay a set of equipment, helmet, armor, and boots, all made of lightweight alloy and smart fabric. A blue light flashed on the panel, displaying Virus Isolation Level, A+, Environmental Adaptation, Extreme. His heart was pounding. This was the company's latest project. He had heard of it but thought it was still in the testing phase. Before the virus broke out, this thing was supposed to be used to combat the climate crisis, but now it has become a lifeline. Junjie took a deep breath, took off his worn jacket, and began to put it on. When the helmet was buckled, a low hum sounded, and a holographic interface popped up in the field of vision. Oxygen circulation was normal, and virus filtering was activated. The armor fits the body like a second skin, light but tough. The boots hit the ground and automatically adjust their grip. He tried to take 2 steps, feeling like he was wearing invisible wings. Acid rain was still falling outside. He opened the window a crack, and a drop of rain splashed in and fell on the armor, making a sizzling sound, but it did not penetrate. That's so cool. Junjie couldn't help laughing, feeling a long-lost excitement in his heart. The interface shows that the equipment can filter air, regulate body temperature, and even have a simple energy shield. He tested the module on his arm, and a thin force field bounced off, pushing away the air. The virus cannot be stopped, and neither can acid rain. This is the spark of hope, he thought. I've been surviving alone for too long, maybe I should find someone else and form a team to break out. At this moment, a faint shout came from downstairs. Not the roar of a zombie, but a human voice. Hey! Is anyone there? We are trapped. The voice was intermittent, mixed with gunshots and impacts. Junjie was stunned, quickly closed the window, grabbed the screwdriver and rushed to the stairs. The cry for help came from the lobby on the first floor. He carefully went downstairs, pausing on each floor to listen for the sound. After the virus mutates people, their hearing becomes extremely sharp, and he doesn't want to be discovered. When we reached the second floor, the sound became clearer. Hold on. The door can't hold anymore. A female voice was urgent and firm. Junjie looked over and saw two figures in the hall, a man and a woman, using tables and chairs to hold up the revolving door. Outside, several zombies were beating on the glass, leaving bloodstains on their rotten palms. Acid rain seeped in through the cracks in the door, and white smoke rose from the floor. "Hey! Who are you?" Junjie shouted in a low voice, appearing from the stairs. The woman turned her head and saw a pale face with wet short hair. She was wearing a medical uniform and a first aid kit on her waist. Her name was Jing Xian. She looked to be in her early 30s, and her eyes shone with caution. "We escaped from the hospital. Do you have weapons? There are more and more of these." The man next to him turned around, as strong as a bear, with the posture of a veteran, holding the picked iron pipe in one hand, and protecting Jing Xian with the other. His name was Guan Yu, and his shoulder was bandaged and stained with blood. "Boy, don't be stunned, help! The door is about to be broken." Junjie nodded and rushed over to help hold the door open. The zombie's claws scraped against the glass, making a screeching sound. "My name is Junjie, the engineer upstairs. How did you get in?" Jing Xian gasped and said, "We drove over to look for supplies, but a wave of corpses came up and the car overturned. Guan Yu smashed open the back door, and we rushed into the hall, but the exit was blocked. The acid rain outside was too strong, and we couldn't hold on without equipment. Guan Yu pushed hard and the iron pipe bent. These monsters are not afraid of rain. Their skin is rotten and they still move. I heard that the virus has made them adapt to the weather." Junjie's mind was racing. He couldn't tell everything about the equipment, but he had to get them to join him. "I have something that can help. There's a set of protective equipment upstairs that can protect against viruses and acid rain. But we have to stop these guys first." Jing Xuan's eyes lit up. "Really? We tried a simple raincoat, but it dissolved in an hour. I am a doctor and can help you treat your wounds. Guan Yu is a veteran, so there is no problem in fighting." Guan Yu snorted, "Boy, you look skinny, but it's good to have equipment. Cooperate and break out?" Junjie nodded, feeling warm in his heart. Surviving alone is too lonely, and these two seem reliable. "Okay, let's go upstairs first and get the equipment. Mine is in the R&D room and can be converted into 3 people." They worked together to push open a gap. Guan Yu rushed out first, knocking over the 2 zombies with the iron pipe. Jing Xian followed, and Junjie followed. The stairwell was narrow, and the smell of acid rain came in. Junjie's equipment buzzed, filtering the air. They returned to the office out of breath. Junjie took off his helmet and handed it to Jing Xian. "Try it first, there is enough oxygen." Jing Xian put it on and breathed a sigh of relief. "Oh my god, it feels like I'm alive. The interface shows that the risk of my wound infection is low." Guan Yu tried the armor and clenched his fist. "Strong. Boy, how did you get this?" "Company secret," Junjie smiled, "but now it's our life-saving money. I can modify it and take apart the parts to put together multiple sets. But you have to be quick, there's something wrong with the sound outside." They quickly divided the work. Jing Xian treated Guan Yu's wounds, and Junjie opened the box to find spare parts. In the air, the sound of rain became louder, mixed with a low roar in the distance. Junjie's inner monologue flashed through, from an engineer hiding in a corner to now taking the lead. This change came suddenly, but it felt right. Team, the key to survival. Suddenly, there was a loud noise downstairs. The sound of breaking glass was accompanied by a tidal wave of footsteps. Guan Yu rushed to the window, tide of corpses. They broke in and went straight to the building. Junjie's heart sank. On the street outside, dark shadows surged in, their eyes shining red in the acid rain. The doors of the building trembled as the wave of corpses approached. Junjie stared at the black waves outside the window, his heart feeling like it was clamped by an iron vice. The tide of corpses were no longer sporadic. They were like nightmares awakened by acid rain, pouring in from the end of the street. Their rotting bodies were twisted in the green light. Their footsteps mixed with the raindrops, making the ground tremble. The revolving door of the building had been shattered into pieces, and the debris was scattered everywhere. The first wave of monsters had crawled into the hall, and low roars echoed in the stairwell. Damn, it came too fast. Guan Yu growled and grabbed the iron pipe. The wound on his shoulder was still bleeding, but the fire in his eyes was not extinguished. Boy, where's the equipment? Hurry up. Jing Xuan's hands were shaking slightly, but she gritted her teeth and opened the first aid kit and handed Junjie a piece of sterile gauze. Guan Yu, wrap up the wound first. Junjie, is the modification you mentioned possible? We have to go downstairs quickly. Junjie had no time to hesitate. His mind raced and he grabbed the spare parts in the box, several pieces of smart fabric, a spare battery and the prototype board of the communication module. This set of weather protection equipment was originally designed by a single person, but his engineer's intuition told him that it could be disassembled and reassembled. The fingers move quickly, like building Lego, but every step must be precise. Jing Xian, you put on my helmet first to filter the air. Guan Yu, I will reinforce your armor and give you boots with strong grip. Give me 2 minutes, I will cut the fabric and put it together into 2 simple versions. 2 minutes? Those things outside can't wait. Guan Yu held the door, and the iron pipe hit the door frame with a muffled sound. But he didn't complain. He just turned to look at Jing Xian. Doctor, help me stop the bleeding. We have to trust this guy. Jing Xian nodded, wrapped the bandage skillfully, and glanced at Junjie. The craftsmanship of your engineer looks like magic. The acid rain outside will burn your skin, and if the equipment breaks down, we will be doomed. It won't break, Junjie gasped, and with a turn of the screwdriver, the fabric connected to the battery, and a buzzing sound erupted. The 3 sets of equipment were hastily formed, not as perfect as the original, but the panel lit up, 80% virus isolation, medium environmental adaptation. Put it on. Fasten the helmet, and the interface will display oxygen and alarms. Guan Yu, you lead the way. Jing Xian, stay behind to check for injuries. I will navigate in the middle and avoid the main road. The 3 of them quickly put on their equipment, and the blue light of the helmets reflected on their faces, like wearing science fiction masks. Junjie felt the armor sticking to his body and the energy shield pulsing slightly. The roar outside got closer, and the first zombie had climbed up the stairs, its claws scraping against the wall, leaving black blood behind. Let's go! Guan Yu kicked the door open, swung out the iron pipe, and hit the monster's head, making a wet and muffled sound. The corpse fell down, twisting and trying to get up, but Guan Yu added a kick and crushed its knees. Follow closely. The stairs go straight to the first floor. Jing Xian followed closely, and the voice came from the helmet communication. Be careful where you step, there is a lot of broken glass. Junjie, is your sense of direction okay? Trust me, Junjie said. The interface displayed a floor map. He remembered that there was an alley at the back door of the building. Go out the back door and go around the main road of the parking lot. There are few bodies there, but you have to be quick. The stairwell was a mess, acid rain seeped in through the broken windows, and the floors were sizzling with smoke. Guan Yu rushed to the front like a tank, and the iron pipe danced vigorously, knocking over 2 more zombies that were rushing towards him. They move quickly, and the virus makes them not afraid of pain. One of them grabbed Guan Yu's arm, but the armor blocked it, leaving only a shallow mark. These bastards have skin as hard as tree bark. Guan Yu cursed. Don't fight hard, save your energy. Junjie shouted, pushing open a fire door from the side, revealing the back door passage. The rain outside was getting heavier, hitting the equipment like a whip, but the fabric filtered the corrosion and the air became fresher. Turn left, down the alley. They rushed out of the building, and acid rain poured down on them. The streets were in ruins, overturned cars were smoking, streetlights were broken and flashed green. Scattered zombies wandered around, turning their heads like ghosts, and their cloudy eyes locked onto them. Guan Yu growled, 3, left. Junjie, lead the way. Junjie nodded, and the interface scanned the terrain, avoid the main road and go into the alley. Guan Yu, kill the leader. His heart tightened. This was the first time the team took action, so he had to be steady. From being an engineer hiding in a corner to now being a commander, it feels strange, but it also feels right. Guan Yu rushed forward and swept the iron pipe across, breaking a zombie's arm. The monster still wanted to pounce, its claws scraped against the armor and sparks flew everywhere. Come on, you rotten piece of meat. He turned around and the monster fell to the ground with his knees on top. Another one came from the side, and Jing Xian screamed, behind. Go on. Guan Yu threw the iron pipe, and Jing Xian instinctively caught it, hitting the monster on the shoulder. She gasped, I'm not a fighter, but I can't hold you back. Junjie pulled her up, you are responsible for medical treatment, don't show off. Look, the alley is clean, go ahead. The three of them ran side by side, their footsteps splashing in the rain. The equipment's boots automatically adjusted and gripped the ground firmly. Junjie's heart flashed, this tacit understanding came quickly, but you have to rely on it to survive. The ruins of the streets were like a maze, with crumbling walls blocking the way. The air was rotten, but the helmet filtered it cleanly. Sporadic attacks continued, and a zombie jumped out of the garbage pile and headed towards Jing Xian. Guan Yu reacted quickly, pulled her back, and pierced the monster's chest with the iron pipe. Doctor, stay focused. These things smell of blood. Jing Xian wiped the rain off her helmet and said with a smile, thanks, veteran. Is your wound cracked? Stop, I'll take care of it. Run to deal with it. Guan Yu said, but slowed down. Jing Xian took out the gauze from her pocket and wrapped it while running. Be patient, the risk of infection is low, but don't act like a hero. Junjie, you led a good road, and you didn't encounter a large group. Junjie smiled, and the interface showed a fork in the road ahead. Turn right, the ruins of the old shopping mall. There is shelter there, and there is less rain. They ducked into a narrow alley, the walls were covered with vines, and the sound of rain became quieter. Guan Yu gasped, boy, your equipment saves lives. I used to only shoot, but now I feel like Superman. Superman still has to rely on his brains, Junjie replied, listen, there is movement ahead. A small group of corpses, about 10 of them, are blocking the intersection. They stopped and hid behind a collapsed billboard. Ahead, at the entrance of an abandoned coffee shop, a small group of zombies swayed, rainwater running down their ulcerated skin, like a living nightmare. The leading one turned its head and its nose twitched, as if it smelled the scent of a living person. Forcibly break in? Guan Yu tightened his grip on the iron pipe and tensed his muscles. No, Junjie shook his head, his mind spinning rapidly. There is a zombie wave on the main road, and we can't avoid it. But I have an idea. He squatted down and removed the communication module from the armor. The small panel was originally for internal communication, but he remembered that the prototype had a broadcast function. With flying fingers, he connected the backup battery and bypassed the safety lock. Give me 30 seconds and I'll convert it into a distress signal. Send it to nearby survivors. Maybe someone will respond. Jing Xuan's eyes widened. Are you crazy? The signal will attract more monsters. The risk is high, but we need help, Junjie said. When the screw was turned, the module lit up red. I'll turn down the power and send only short pulses, location and rescue code. Try the engineer's trick. Guan Yu nodded, okay, you can handle it. Jing Xian and I will block the small group. Don't let them get close. The group of corpses began to move, and the roars got closer and closer. Guan Yu rushed out and smashed the lead monster over with the iron pipe. Blood splashed, but his armor blocked it. Come on, you bastards. Jing Xian followed up and poked an eye with the wooden stick she picked up. The monster fell to the ground and twisted. She shouted, Junjie, hurry up. They are outflanking us. Junjie's fingers were trembling, but he was as focused as a knife. The circuit is connected and a signal is sent out, a series of low-frequency pulses, mixed with the sound of rain. Sent. If there are other teams, their equipment will be received. He put away the module, grabbed the screwdriver as a weapon, and joined the battle circle. Guan Yu swept down 2 of them at once, sweat swirling in his helmet. Boy, does the signal work? There is an endless supply of these things. No matter what, you have to try. Junjie stabbed an approaching zombie and pushed away its claws with the energy shield. Jing Xian disposed of the last one and panted, "We won." But the wound. Guan Yu, your arm was scratched. Skin injury. Guan Yu scolded with a smile, "Doctor, your hands are not bad either." The first battle of the team, not bad. The 3 of them leaned against the wall and panted. Amidst the sound of rain, Junjie's interface suddenly flashed, signal response. A weak signal came from the east. Someone responded. In the suburban stronghold, they said that the sewer is a shortcut to avoid the tide of corpses. Jing Xian breathed a sigh of relief. Great. Junjie, your modification saved us. Guan Yu patted him on the shoulder. Boy, you can not only hide, but also lead. Let's go to the sewer. Junjie nodded and scanned the ruins in front. The entrance is behind the shopping mall, at the old drainage outlet. But it's dark inside, there might be a trap. They moved forward, and a tacit understanding was born. From strangers to dependents, it only took this battle. The rain is still falling, but the flame of hope is burning brighter. The ruins of the shopping mall are eerie. Behind the broken wall, a rusty manhole cover comes into view. Junjie pried it open, and there was a damp echo and the faint sound of water coming from inside. The entrance to the sewer opens with a black mouth, like it leads to an unknown abyss. Guan Yu put his head in. It smells like a shit pit, but it's better than the tide of corpses on the ground. Jing Xian held the medical bag tightly. Shall we go in? Junjie, you decide. He took a deep breath and his helmet light came on, shining into the darkness. Come in. Let's face it as a team. They filed in, their footsteps echoing in the passage, indicating a deeper adventure, waiting to engulf them. The manhole cover closed behind him, and darkness came in like a tide, leaving only the blue light of the helmet light swaying on the damp wall. Junjie felt that the soles of his feet were extremely slippery, and there was a splashing sound with every step. The air in the sewer was sultry, mixed with the smell of mold and rust, and the helmet filter was humming, barely giving him a breather. The passage was as narrow as a coffin, with shoulders brushing against the wall, water up to the ankles, and freezing cold. This damn place is like a rat's nest, Guan Yu complained in a low voice from the front, tapping the iron pipe on the wall to listen for the echo. Boy, is your map accurate? Don't lead us into a dead end. Junjie's helmet interface lit up for simple scanning, and with the help of memory and building blueprints, he began to piece together the route in his mind. The engineer's habit kept him from panicking, and he took out a small laptop prototype board from his belt. It was a spare module for the equipment and could be connected to a light to draw sketches. Okay, give me some time. I'll use the interface mark to avoid the main pipe, which is prone to collapse. Jing Xian, follow closely and check the water depth. Don't let the water damage the equipment. Jing Xian nodded, and the light shone on her face, reflecting her firm eyes. She stepped forward through the water, her medical bag slung over her shoulder. The water temperature is low, but not acidic, and the virus filter can hold up. Guan Yu, how is your wound? Don't be brave, in case of infection. Infection? I'm thick-skinned, Guan Yu scolded with a smile, his voice echoing in the passage like muffled thunder. Doctor, please pay attention to the road. It's dark here. If a corpse comes up, it won't be good to bite you. The 3 of them filed forward, the sound of their footsteps mixed with the water flow. Occasionally, drops of water fell from the top, hitting their helmets with a crackling sound. Junjie tapped on the interface while walking and drew a rough map. Turn left to the main channel, and the branch road to the right is narrow but stable. Listen, team rules. Guan Yu leads the way and detects traps. I navigate and mark the forks. Jing Xian stays behind and monitors health. Resources are limited, save battery, and adjust the lighting to mid-range. Rules? It sounds like a military camp. Guan Yu turned his head, the light flickered across his armor, and the gauze on the wound was wet. But okay, you have the final say. Boy, after the battle in the building, you have become like a boss. When I saw you before, you would only hide in the laboratory and twist screws. Junjie felt warm in his heart. This was recognition. He didn't think much, and something flashed through his mind. Leadership is not born, it has to be done step by step. Tightening screws saves lives, and opening roads also saves lives. Guan Yu, you take the lead, and I'll support you from behind. Jingxian, how do you divide the supplies? Is there enough gauze in the medical bag? Jingxian took inventory while walking, half a pack of gauze left, 2 shots of antibiotics, and a small bottle of painkillers. It's enough to last 2 days, but I have to save. Junjie, can you spare some of your battery module for my helmet? My oxygen display is a little flickering. Okay, Junjie stopped, knelt in the water, removed the stitches from his armor, and connected her helmet. His fingers were slippery, but he held steady. The circuit flashed and the green light turned on. In this way, your battery life will be extended by half an hour. My point reduction will be fine. Team resources should be shared. This is the principle. Guan Yu looked at it and nodded. Yes, it's not like some people who hide private goods. I remember last time at the camp, the engineer only cared about his own battery, causing everyone to do nothing. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a ripple in the water in front of him. Guan Yu raised the iron pipe. Quiet. There is movement. In the darkness, 2 figures emerged from the side passage, the remnant zombies, with skin whitened by soaking and eyes cloudy, rushing towards them like water ghosts. They are slow-moving but have long claws that splash in the water. Guan Yu roared, the iron pipe was smashed down, the first head exploded, black blood and mixed water spread. 2 little characters. Junjie, what is this on the map? At the branch entrance, there is a puddle behind, Junjie shouted, and the interface flashed a red alert. Go around to the left and don't step into deep water. The waterproof layer of the equipment is thin. If it breaks, the virus will leak out. Jingxian took a step back, holding the iron rod she picked up in her hand. I'll block the right side. Guan Yu, be careful with your claws. Guan Yu turned around, and the iron pipe swept across. The second zombie jumped into the air, its claws scraped against the wall, and sparks burst out. It turned around and came again. Guan Yu kicked it into the water and stepped on its neck. That rotten thing, let it soak to pieces. When the iron pipe stabbed the monster, it twitched a few times and sank to the bottom. The water surface became calm, but Junjie felt that the equipment was wet and heavy, and the waterproof layer made a sizzling noise. Check the equipment. My boots are flooded and the seals are loose. Jingxian, where are yours? It's okay, but the helmet is very foggy, she breathed, wiping the lenses. How did these remnants get in? The virus is not afraid of water. I'm afraid, but the sewer is an old channel and it seeped in after it collapsed, Junjie explained, marking the new route with his laptop tablet. Let's speed up and avoid the main water accumulation area. Guan Yu, you are exploring forward, knock on the wall and listen for holes. Guan Yu nodded, using the iron pipe as a probe, and knocked as he walked. I listen to you, boss. This place is like a maze, and it will be dangerous if it makes any sound. They turned into a narrow passage. The water was knee-deep, the light illuminated the cracks in the wall, and occasionally mice scurried past, screaming and escaping. During the interaction, the tension relaxed a bit, and Jingxian suddenly stopped. Wait a minute, there's something here. Her light swept across a pile of crumbling iron frames, and underneath was an old box, stained with rust, but the lock was still there. Medical kit? Junjie came closer and scanned the interface. Non-metallic, organic matter inside. Guan Yu, pry it open. Jingxian, open it. Guan Yu pried the iron pipe, broke the lock, and opened the box. Several packs of clean gauze, a bottle of disinfectant, and 2 epinephrine injections. It's not new, but it's a treasure to them. Oh my god, I found a treasure. Jingxuan's eyes lit up and she grabbed the gauze to check. The expiration date is not serious, it can be used. Guan Yu, your wound needs to be replaced with dressing. Junjie, this is thanks to your map. Without your mark, we would have missed it. Guan Yu grinned. Doctor, give it to me. It feels like winning the lottery. The sewers are not all bad. Junjie looked at them, feeling warm in his heart. This is the team, from strangers to complementarity. Divide resources, give gauze to Master Guan Yu, give injections to Jing Xian, and I'll use disinfectant to wipe the equipment. It's fair, whoever gets hurt first. Fair enough, Jing Xian said, smiling as she changed Guan Yu's dressing. Junjie, you are much more stable as a leader. When you first came in, I was worried that you would panic. Be careful when you panic, Junjie replied, wiping his boots to seal them. An engineer's brain is used to solve problems. Come on, keep walking. The map shows that there is a fork ahead. It's safe on the left and dangerous on the right. With their morale rising, they quickened their pace, and the sound of water was mixed with laughter. Guan Yu changed the medicine and his shoulders relaxed. This needle hurts, but it works. Doctor, your hands are very strong, just like the military doctor I was when I was in the army. Military doctor? Then you have to be obedient, Jing Xian teased. Stop carrying it hard. The team cannot carry it alone. Junjie listened and thought, this tacit understanding has grown. From the panic in the building to the current division of labor, he felt that he had changed and was no longer the guy hiding behind. Suddenly, there was a movement in the darkness ahead, and Guan Yu raised his tube. Big guy. Mutated. A giant zombie jumped out, splashing water. It was no ordinary remnant. This thing's arms were swollen, as if soaked in water, and mutated. Its skin bulged with bubbles, and it roared like a wild beast. It pounced, its claws swept across Guan Yu's armor, making a metallic scraping sound. Damn, this thing is hard. Guan Yu stepped back and hit the wall. Junjie, map. Is there a way out? Junjie's interface scanned wildly. The right fork is narrow, but you can squeeze it. Jing Xian, prepare the injection to stimulate its weak points. Jing Xian threw the disinfectant bottle and hit the monster in the eye. The green liquid splashed out and it roared and fluttered. Guan Yu seized the opportunity, pierced the air bubbles with the iron pipe, and exploded the black juice. Eat this. Rotten meat. The monster twitched. Guan Yu made up for it a few times, and finally fell down, and the water turned black. They panted, and Guan Yu wiped his sweat. It's dangerous, the mutation is stronger than outside. The equipment holds up well, and it's really waterproof. But the battery is 20% drained, Junjie checked. Save it. Jing Xian, are you okay? No, Xia. Guan Yu stopped, she said, her voice trembling, but her eyes firm. We cooperate well and are like a family. Just as he was talking, the helmet alarm sounded, a low sound in the distance, coming from the ground, like a warning of a storm. The interface flashes red. An extreme storm is approaching. Acid rain and strong winds are expected to affect the sewers within half an hour. The storm is coming. Junjie shouted, his heart beating faster. The map shows that the exit is 2 kilometers away, but the passage will be flooded. Speed up. Guan Yu, open the road at full speed. Jing Xian, hold on to your bag. I will navigate, don't stop. Guan Yu nodded, holding the iron pipe in front. Listen to the boss. I heard that this storm can collapse buildings. We have to get out before the water floods. Jing Xian followed closely. Junjie, your decision is right, we believe in you. There was a loud sound of water, the distant roar of wind came in faintly, the passage shook, and dust fell. They ran, the light lengthening the shadows, the tension tightening like a rope. Junjie's mind was racing. Leadership is not only about commanding, but also about leading them to live. There is a fork in the road ahead, and the crisis is approaching. Their footsteps beat the rhythm of survival. The footsteps were trampling randomly in the waterway, as if they were stepping on the heartbeat, and there was a splashing sound with every step. The roar of the wind in the distance was getting closer and closer, like a wild beast panting outside the door. Junjie's headlight swung wildly, the map lines on the interface stretched, and the exit sign ahead flashed red. Quick! The exit is 50 meters away, iron ladder. Guan Yu, climb up first and check the wind direction. Guan Yu panted heavily, threw the iron pipe on his shoulder, and rushed towards the rusty ladder first. I obey you, boss. Jing Xian, hold on to my belt, don't slide down. He climbed as fast as a monkey. The manhole cover above his head was pushed open a crack, and heat waves poured in, mixed with the smell of scorched earth and rot. Instead of the expected acid rain, the weather changed faster than zombies. A heat wave came, and the air was like a steamer, making people breathless. Hot. This is a fucking heat wave. Guan Yu growled, sticking his head out from the manhole cover, and the light swept across the ruined streets. The asphalt road was cracked, and the car wreckage was twisted, as if it had been bent by fire. Clouds were billowing in the distance, but the ground was hot and the air was twisted. There are no corpses outside, but it's as hot as a furnace. Junjie, what do you think of your equipment? Junjie followed the ladder. His palms were red with heat, and the helmet interface dinged an alarm. The temperature was 85 degrees, the equipment's cooling system was overloaded, and it was expected to shut down in 5 minutes. Overheating. The oxygen circulation is starting to mess up. We have to get out quickly, but don't run around. Jing Xian, stay behind and check the seal. Jing Xian climbed up, sweat on her face fogging up inside her helmet. My display is red and my heart rate is high. Junjie, what's going on with this heat wave? Just now the alarm was for acid rain, but now it's getting hotter. The climate has collapsed, and the weather is running around like a virus, Junjie explained, pushing open the manhole cover, and the three of them climbed out, stepping on the hot ground. The sun was dazzling, and heat was rising in the ruins. The remains of the building in the distance were like ovens. There were no living people around, but there was a faint growl in the air. The heat wave made the zombies restless. They crawled out of the shadows, moving faster than usual, with dry and cracked skin, like dogs that had been sun-mad. As soon as they stood firm, their helmets screamed, overheating alarm. The lining of Junjie's armor was soaked and as hot as if he were wrapped in fire. Stop! Find the shadow, I'll modify it. Guan Yu, keep an eye on the surrounding area. Jing Xian, monitor our body temperature. He squatted next to the manhole cover, took out the toolkit from his belt, and stared at the interface. The cooling fan was clogged, and the heat pipe hydraulic pressure was not smooth. Engineer's instincts kicked in, and he glanced around, picking up the charred remains of a bicycle and removing metal pipes and old fan blades. This works, a makeshift radiator. Give me a minute. Guan Yu turned around, tightened his grip on the iron pipe, and the light swept across the street corner. 3 zombies crawled out of the garbage dump. The heat wave made their eyes blood red, and their claws scratched the ground, making scratching sounds, as if they were chasing a heat source. Here they come. These bastards are so hot that they move fast. Junjie, hurry up, I'll block you. He rushed forward and hit the first one in the knee. It knelt down but didn't fall. It fought back, its claws grazed his armor, and sparks burst out. Damn, it's so hot that their skin is hard. Jing Xian retreated behind Junjie, the iron rod in her hand shaking. Guan Yu, be careful. My body temperature is 85 and I'm dizzy. Junjie, where's yours? She said as she took out the cooling patch from the medical bag and patted it on her neck, but it was still stuffy inside the helmet. 87, I can hold on. Junjie gritted his teeth, took apart the side panels of the armor, and quickly connected the wiring with his fingers. Metal tubes were used as heat pipes, fan blades were changed into diffusers, and he used a laptop board to short-circuit and restart the system. The circuit sizzled and sweat dripped into his eyes, but he held steady. Team, don't panic, this is a double threat, heat wave and corpse tide. We have to deal with it step by step. Guan Yu, divert them away, don't fight forcefully. Guan Yu dodged, and the iron pipe swept across the arm of the second zombie. It roared and flew into the air, hitting the wreckage of the car. Lead it away? I'll try. Hey, bad head, come here. He deliberately knocked on the iron pipe to make a sound, causing the 3 monsters to chase him in a circle. The hot air made him breathe heavily, but the veteran's skills were steady and his steps seemed to be dancing. Jing Xian, Throw something at me. Distract. Jing Xian grabbed a stone on the ground and threw it at the group of monsters. Take it. You crazy beasts. The stone hit one on the back of the head, and it turned around to give Guan Yu some breathing space. Junjie whispered at this moment, it's done. The cooling system restarted and the temperature dropped by 3 degrees. Jing Xian, I'll connect it to you first. He climbed over and connected the cable, and the green light on her helmet flashed. Guan Yu, wait a moment and kill these first. When Guan Yu heard this, his morale was boosted. Well done, boss. Look at me. He jumped up, the iron pipe pierced the third eye, black blood spurted out, and the monster twitched and fell to the ground. When the remaining 2 approached, he kicked one over and patched its head with an iron pipe. The heat wave makes them stupid, but it also makes our equipment jammed. Junjie, your modifications are life-saving. It feels like adding air conditioning. Junjie gasped and stood up, with a thought in his mind, this is leadership. From modification to command, I have to make the team trust me. All inspections, my heat dissipation is stable. Jing Xian, what's your body temperature? He said as he connected Guan Yu's wiring. The 3 people's armors buzzed and rotated, and the heat slowly dropped. 82, thank you. Jing Xian wiped her sweat and sounded a little more relaxed. But Guan Yu, you have a scratch on your arm. It's easy to get infected if the heat gets in. Stop and let me apply medicine. Wait a minute, doctor. Guan Yu glanced at the street, the air twisted in the heat wave, and more growls came from the distance. This heat has awakened the zombie tide. We have to move. Junjie, which way to go? What's the nearest cover on the map? Junjie's interface lit up, scanning the sewer blueprint and memory. 2 streets to the east, there is an abandoned parking lot, which can block the heat. But there is a downhill slope in the middle, which is easy to slip. The team follows closely, I navigate, Guan Yu protects the wings, Jing Xian is in the middle, monitoring. They started, their feet burned on the hot ground, and the helmet filter worked overtime. The hot dust in the air blurred their vision. After walking 100 meters, the heat wave became more intense, the ground was like a baking pan, and a scream cut through in the distance, not a corpse roar, but a human voice. Junjie stopped, listen. A living person. The light swept over, and beside the parking lot, a figure huddled under the collapsed billboard, a young woman, wearing a tattered protective clothing, a cracked helmet, and sweat mixed with blood on her face. She waved her hand, help me. The heat is unbearable and corpses are chasing me. Guan Yu raised his tube to warn, newcomer. Don't be a trap. But Junjie waved his hand, help. Jing Xian, go and see, she has heat stroke. They rushed over, Guan Yu arrived first, smashed away the 2 approaching zombies with 1 tube. Jing Xian knelt down to check, the body temperature is 90, serious dehydration. Junjie, lend me your cooling line. The woman gasped, thank you. My name is Xiaowei. I escaped from the northern camp. The heat wave came suddenly, my equipment broke, and the zombies forced me here. She glanced at them with vigilance, but she did not refuse Jing Xuan's cooling patch. Junjie nodded, weighing in his mind, there is 1 more person in the team, and resources are tight, but it is not humane to leave him behind. Welcome, Xiaowei. But the rules are, share resources and follow orders. I will try to modify your equipment. Guan Yu, carry her for a while. Guan Yu frowned and whispered, boss, this person came by chance. What if he brought a body with him? But he still squatted down and let Xiaowei climb on his back. Okay, but keep an eye on her. Doctor, is she injured? Jing Xian said as she walked, it's a scratch, not infected. But she said there was a mole in the northern camp and she lost food when she escaped. Junjie, we have to ask. Xiaowei gasped on Guan Yu's back, it wasn't me. Those people in the camp started fighting over the battery, and I ran away. Thank you, are you a team? Yes, Junjie turned around with a steady voice, but it's normal to be suspicious. Everyone should be careful in the apocalypse. Survive first, then talk. Jing Xian, give her a water pipe, a small amount. In the heat wave, they moved forward. Xiaowei's addition made the team longer. Guan Yu was breathing heavily from carrying people on his back, but he didn't complain. Junjie feels the pressure on his shoulders. Leading 4 people not only involves technology, but also takes care of people's hearts. Inner flash, from the tacit understanding between the 3 of them to the suspicion, they have to be proven reliable. Suddenly, Jing Xian shouted, "Wait! Xiaowei has a fever, heat stroke. Guan Yu, put her down, I'll give her an injection." They stopped in the shadow of the roadside. Xiaowei's face turned red. Jing Xian took the injection from the bag. "Hold on, this is adrenaline, plus cooling. Junjie, be alert." Guan Yu turned around and knocked the iron pipe on the ground. "Here come the corpses again, 5 of them. They are so hot that they look like a pack of wolves." He rushed out. The pipe danced, knocking over 2 of them, but one of his claws grabbed Xiaowei's old boots, and she screamed, "Don't touch me." Junjie picked up the scrap metal pieces on the ground and threw them to disperse. Guan Yu, flash left. "Xiaowei, don't move, Jing Xian, hurry up." Jing Xian inserted the needle. Xiaowei twitched and her eyes became clearer. "Thank you, for not throwing me away." After the battle, Guan Yu wiped the blood and said, "This newcomer is lucky, but next time he will fight on his own." "Boss, shall we continue?" Junjie nodded and looked at the team. Jing Xian was wrapped in gauze, Guan Yu was panting, and Xiaowei was weak to keep up. "East, speed up. The peak of the heat wave has passed, but the tide of corpses will follow." They crossed the street. The heat gradually subsided, but the roar in the distance was like a tide, approaching faintly. Around the corner, an abandoned factory stands. The iron door is half open, the chimney is crooked, and the inside is cool and shady, filled with old machines. Junjie interface scan. The structure is stable and there are no traces of large corpses. "Here. Temporary shelter." Guan Yu, seal the door. Jing Xian, check inside. Xiaowei, rest while I change your equipment. They squeezed in and the door slammed shut, keeping out the heat. But deep in the factory, there were faint sounds of footsteps. The shadows of the corpse wave stretched on the wall, like a storm about to break out. Junjie gripped the tool tightly and thought, "Be prepared, this is just the beginning." The air in the factory is stuffy, like an old steam room. The smell of rust is mixed with engine oil. The sound of footsteps echoes between the walls, like a beating heart. Junjie raised his headlight and scanned the shadowed corner. The interface showed that there was no heat source, but the low scratching sound was getting closer and closer, coming from behind the pile of machines. "Guan Yu, guard the left wing. Jing Xian, protect Xiaowei. We are not here alone," he whispered, unpacking the tool bag in his hand and preparing for emergencies. Guan Yu nodded, holding the iron pipe across his chest and walking briskly around a pile of rusty gears. "It sounds like claws scratching the ground, not the sound of wind." "Chief, what do you think?" "Xiaowei, didn't you hear it outside just now?" He glanced at the newcomer on his back. She was now on her own feet, but her face was still pale, and exhaustion could be seen in the cracks in her helmet. Xiaowei shook her head, her voice as low as a mosquito buzzing. I don't know. The heat wave burned my brain, and I could only hear the roar." Her eyes quickly scanned the depths of the factory, as if she was hiding something, but she quickly lowered her head and grabbed the medical bag handed over by Jing Xian. Jing Xian helped her sit down against the wall and checked her pulse. "Don't move yet, the body temperature is still 85. Junjie, that voice may be an echo, this place is like a maze. But if there are corpses, we have to clear the area." As she spoke, she took out the analgesic spray from her bag and sprayed it on Xiaowei's scratches, her movements skillful, as if comforting an old friend. The footsteps suddenly stopped and were replaced by a muffled sound. The iron piece tipped over. Guan Yu rushed forward and smashed open the iron mesh behind the machine, and 3 zombies jumped out. The heat wave made their skin chapped and their eyes were as red as hot coals. Their movements are stiff, but their roars are harsh and their claws claw at the air. "Here we come. These hot crazed guys, hide in the shade and recharge your batteries." Guan Yu roared, the iron pipe swept across, the first arm was broken, and black blood spattered on the ground. Junxia took a step back and locked the second one with his headlight. Guan Yu, flash right. Don't let them scatter. He picked up the broken wire on the ground and threw it towards the monster's eyes to distract it. Jing Xian pulled Xiaowei back and raised the iron rod in her hand. Xiaowei, hold my arm steady. Guan Yu, I'll cover. She threw a piece of scrap metal and hit the third one's leg. It knelt down but didn't stop. The heat made them wilder. Xiaowei gasped, clenched the stick for the first time, and poked the approaching monster. I'll try. The stick missed, but she did not retreat. A trace of determination flashed in her eyes. Guan Yu made up for it and finished the last one with one tube. Dead silence returned to the factory, leaving only their breathing. It's cleared. These corpses are the vanguard of the heat wave. There must be more outside. Boss, shall we settle down? Junxia nodded, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and felt nervous. After the heat wave, a storm will come, and the equipment must be repaired quickly. Yes, seal the door first. Wrap it with those iron chains to prevent the corpses from pouring in. Jing Xian, check the resources. Guan Yu, patrol the border. Xiaowei, follow me, and I will repair your helmet. They started, and the factory hall turned into a temporary camp, and the lights cast long shadows on the wall. Jing Xian checked her backpack and frowned. There is half a bottle of water left, 1 mouthful per person, 3 packs of dry food, which can last 2 days. The battery is low, and the heat wave has burned 20%. Xiaowei, your equipment is leaking, you need to seal it first. She gave each person a small piece of compressed biscuit, and when passing it to Xiaowei, she said softly, eat it, you're welcome. We are a team and share resources. Xiaowei took a bite, and lowered her eyes. Thank you. I brought some from the northern camp, but lost it. During the heat wave, everyone was grabbing batteries, and I had no part in it. Her fingers trembled slightly, as if remembering something, but she quickly raised her head and smiled. You are different, I feel like family. Guan Yu came back from the side and knocked the iron pipe on the ground. Family? There is no such thing in the apocalypse. But the boss said, share. Jing Xian, look at Xiaowei, her stab at the corpse just now is good, but she needs practice. Come, everyone gathers, I will teach you some basic moves. The tide of corpses is coming, everyone must be able to protect themselves. They formed a circle, and Guan Yu demonstrated, hold the stick like this, don't treat it like a toy. Junxia, you go first. Yes, turn around and sweep the legs, aiming at the knees. The weak point of the corpse is in the joints, and the heat wave makes them fast, but also stupid. Junxia tried it twice, and the stick whizzed, feeling heavy but useful. Okay, the engineer becomes a warrior. Jing Xian, try it, the doctor also has to protect himself. Jing Xian smiled and swung the stick with light movements. I prefer needles, but okay, I learned it. Guan Yu, you teach Xiaowei, she is new here, she needs to practice more. Xiaowei stood up, holding the stick tightly. Guan Yu patiently pointed out, be gentle, don't panic. Imagine it as a heat wave, hit it. Xiaowei practiced several times, and blushed. I am afraid of holding back. The 3 of you have a tacit understanding, and I am like an outsider. Guan Yu patted her shoulder. Outsiders? We didn't think about this when we rescued you. If you practice well, you won't be. During the training, Junxia watched and thought, the team is expanding, and the tacit understanding must be rebuilt from scratch. There was a faint roar outside the heat wave. He turned to the machine pile and picked up wires, springs, and waste oil barrels. Guan Yu, stop. The zombies are surrounding me. I heard the sound of claws outside the door. We have to set a trap to prevent them from rushing in. Junxia squatted down and projected a blueprint on the interface. He used tools to quickly modify it. Springs were connected to iron wires to make trip wires, oil drums were filled with waste oil to serve as fire traps, and wires were connected to batteries to make low-voltage power grids. This can block the first wave. After the heat wave, corpses will swarm and traps will scatter them. Guan Yu, you stand guard. Jing Xian, help me secure it. Jing Xian tied the wire and said, it's smart, like a doomsday version of the anti-theft net. But resources are tight, and the batteries are allocated to traps. What about the equipment? Her voice was worried, and team friction was faintly emerging. Xiao Wei looked at the battery, her eyes flickered, as if she wanted to say something, but swallowed it back. Junjie noticed it and thought, suspicion is poison and must be suppressed. The battery is sufficient. I'll modify the module to give priority to keeping warm. After the heat wave, a blizzard will come, as Xiao Wei said at the northern camp. He connected Xiao Wei's helmet, sealed the cracks, and added a heat sink. Try, is the oxygen stable? Xiao Wei put it on, and the interface gave a green light. Sure, thank you, Junjie. You are like the boss, no one in the north does this. But when she spoke, her hands unconsciously touched the torn bag at her waist. It was empty, and her eyes were wandering, as if she was hiding something on her mind. Guan Yu came back from patrol and frowned. There are more than a dozen corpses outside the door. The trap is set, boss? He gave everyone a sip of the water pipe. Jing Xian took it and handed it to Xiao Wei. Drink, don't save it. No one in the team is hungry. Xiao Wei drank, but coughed. I used to fight over water in the camp. Everyone panicked, and the newcomers suffered the worst. Her voice trembled, and panic surged. What if a corpse comes in? What should we do? The battery is not enough, and my equipment is broken. Will you abandon me? Jing Xian squatted down and shook her hand. No. Listen, Xiao Wei, we have all been afraid. During the heat wave, I thought Jing could not go down, but Junjie refitted and Guan Yu blocked the body, and we held on. You are part of the team, panic is normal, just say it. She turned to look at Junjie and Guan Yu, right? Resources are short, but people's hearts cannot be dispersed. Guan Yu nodded with rare gentleness. The doctor is right. When I was a soldier, the recruits were also panicked. I taught them how to fight, and now I will teach you. Come, practice another round of stick practice to vent your panic. Junjie looked at this scene and felt a little relieved. The leader not only makes modifications, but also takes care of his emotions. Xiao Wei nodded, stood up and practiced with the stick. Her movements became steady, and the team laughed. Guan Yu teased her. Oh, this is good. Next time the corpse comes, you will be the vanguard. While he was smiling, the helmet sounded the alarm. The temperature dropped sharply. The interface flashes red. A snowstorm is approaching. Wind speed is 50 meters, and it is -20 degrees. Outside the factory, the heat wave clouds rolled over, snowflakes and ice particles smashed against the door, and the roar was mixed with the howling of the wind, like a ghost crying. The weather has changed. Quick, check the thermal module. Junjie shouted, rushing to the door. The snowy wind had poured in through the cracks, making the iron door creak with the cold. Guan Yu sealed the seam. Damn it, it's hot and snowy, this weather is playing tricks on us. Boss, is the equipment okay? Xiao Wei shrank into a ball, panic rising again. My helmet is not warm, it's cold. Jing Xian hugged her and said, hold on, I'll apply a heat patch. But her module also had a red light, and the team's body temperature dropped quickly. Junjie knelt down and took off his armor. The interface showed that the thermal insulation layer was thin and the heat wave had burned out the circuits. He grabbed the factory wires and waste heat pipes and quickly connected them. I'll change it. The heating wire winding module is shared with the battery. Jing Xian, connect it to Xiao Wei first. Guan Yu, block the door. The wind and snow smashed against the door, the corpse roared closer, and a dark shadow swayed outside the trap. Junjie's fingers were frozen, but the engineer's brain turned quickly. The heat pipe was used to conduct heat, and the wires were connected in series to the thermal network. It's done. Connect everything and restart the module. As soon as the line was connected, the armor buzzed and the temperature rose to 10 degrees. Jing Xian checked everyone. The body temperature is stable and there is no frostbite. Team, stay together, we can survive the snow. Guan Yu knocked on the door and heard the sound of the trap, a muffled explosion. the flames of the oil barrel flashed, and the roar of corpses turned into screams. The trap works. But in the wind and snow, they are still swarming. Junjie stood up and looked at the team gathered around him, his face firm in the light. Xiaowei whispered, "I thought I was going to die, thank you." But her eyes drifted to the crack of the door again. In the snow outside, a blurry figure flashed across, not a corpse, as if she was peeping. She quickly looked away, but Junjie didn't pay attention, focusing on the interface. At the peak of the snowstorm, the tide of corpses would take advantage of the situation to rush forward. The wind roared louder, the factory shook, and the team huddled together, waiting for the eye of the storm. Junjie clenched the tool, knowing in his heart, it was condensed, but the crisis started, and the shadow of the figure was like a hidden crack. The iron gate of the factory trembled in the wind and snow, like a wounded beast panting. Junjie let go of the tool bag, and the blue light of the headlight stretched out a long line in the snowflakes. He glanced at the interface. The wind speed had reached 60 meters, and the heat signals of the corpse wave were as dense as torches. There were at least 50 outside the door, rushing towards them with the wind. The vague figure had long since disappeared into the vast whiteness, but the sense of rift in his heart lingered. The team had just united, but the crisis was overwhelming like an avalanche. "Boss, the door can't hold up anymore," Guan Yu shouted, holding the iron pipe tightly and pressing his shoulders against the crack of the door. The snowy wind filled in with the smell of black blood. Jingxian hugged Xiaowei tightly, holding the medical bag in front of her. "Junjie, how much power is left in the trap? We have to fight back, don't let them squeeze in." Xiaowei curled up, the thermal module of the helmet buzzed, but her eyes shone with a strange light, like the coldness outside the wind and snow seeping into her heart. Junjie took a deep breath of cold air, and the interface projected a blueprint. "The trap grid is still alive. I activate the automatic mode. Guan Yu, prepare to get close. Jingxian, guard the injured. Xiaowei, follow me. We retreat and fight at the same time." His fingers were protecting at the same time. Clicking on the armor, the low-voltage network connected by wires started buzzing, and the first wave of screams came from outside the door. The tide of corpses hit the grid. The smell of burnt meat mixed into the snowy wind. A few monsters twitched and fell to the ground, but more rushed forward, and the sound of claws hitting the door was like thunder. "The door lock is broken." Pieces of iron flew, and a dozen zombies sprang out of the snow. Their skin was cracked by the frost, and their eyes were red crazily from the remnants of the heat wave. Although their movements were a bit slow, the wind and snow made them even crazier, like a pack of hungry wolves. Guan Yu was the first to rush forward. The iron pipe whizzed and hit the leader's knee. "Come on, you frozen corpses. When I was a soldier, I killed people in the snow who were worse than you." The pipe broke bones with a crisp sound, and the corpse knelt down. He kicked it over, turned around, and swept down 2 more. His movements were as smooth as if he was teaching new recruits to drill. Black blood splashed on his armor and evaporated into mist, but he did not retreat and shouted, "Junjie, 3 on the left, outflank them." Junjie nodded, grabbed the broken wire on the ground, threw it out, wrapped it around the arm of a corpse, and pulled to distract. "Guan Yu, good job. Jingxian, are there any injuries at the door?" As he spoke, he activated the second trap. The oil barrel fire net was ignited. Tongues of fire burst out from the snow, scorching 5 or 6 corpses. Heat waves and cold wind collided, and steam filled the factory hall. The tide of corpses paused, but the roar became louder, and the wind and snow pushed them forward one after another. Jingxian was busy behind, and a corpse claw scratched Guan Yu's armor, tearing a hole, and he stepped back with a groan. She rushed forward and sprayed to stop the bleeding. "Guan Yu, don't be brave. The arm is scratched and the virus isolation layer is broken. I'll seal it." She tied it and shouted, "Xiaowei, pass me the gauze. These corpses are frozen stiff, but their claws are still strong. Anyone who is injured must be dealt with immediately." Xiaowei handed over the things, her hands shaking badly, but her eyes occasionally glanced at Junjie's tool bag, which contained batteries and modified parts. She murmured in a low voice, "It's too messy, we can't hold on." Guan Yu shook off the blood, and smashed another one away with the iron pipe. "Hold on. Jing Xian, you focus on the medical treatment, I will fight. He jumped up, and the pipe hit the head of a tall corpse, the brains splashed out, and the snow was dyed red. He gasped and turned around, his fighting posture as steady as a rock. Boss, the automatic system works, but there are too many corpses, we have to clear the passage. Junjie responded, switching the interface to navigate, turn right in the passage, the entrance to the sewer is close. But block it first, the power grid resets. He pressed the button, and a buzzing current rushed out, stunning another batch of corpses. The firelight and snowflakes intertwined in the factory, and the air was as hot as a steamer. During the melee, Xiaowei suddenly moved. She took advantage of the chaos to sneak over to the tool bag, reaching for the battery pack, her eyes flashing with despair. I'm sorry. I have to live on my own. She grabbed a battery, stuffed it into the torn bag on her waist, turned around and wanted to run to the back door where the snow and wind were less intense. She might be able to sneak out. But Guan Yu had sharp eyes and blocked her way. Xiaowei. What are you doing? Steal the battery? His voice was thunderous, his chest was covered with iron pipes, and his face was ashen. The teen was stunned. Jing Xian turned her head and dropped the medical spray. Xiaowei? Isn't that right? You. Junjie stopped the modification and locked his headlight on her. Stop. Explain, now. The corpse roared closer, but the internal crisis was like a bomb exploding. Xiaowei backed away, and the battery fell out of the bag and rolled into the snow. She cried, I can't help it. I'm a scout in the northern camp. They said the factory has equipment and asked me to steal it in exchange for my life. Hello, but the resources are not enough. I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of being left behind. Her voice trembled, panic like an avalanche, exposing the cracks in her heart. From gratitude to betrayal, it was only one step away. Guan Yu stepped forward and raised the iron pipe, but did not smash it. Stealing? In the apocalypse, this is a capital crime. Boss, she is holding you back, and the corpses are still pouring in. Jing Xian pulled his arm. Guan Yu, calm down. She is a newcomer and panicked. Our team is not robbing like a camp. But the air solidified, the sound of corpse claws approached, and the shadow of teen division shrouded. Guan Yu's vigilance turned to anger, Jing Xuan's concern wavered, and Junjie felt the weight of leadership coming like a mountain. Junjie took a deep breath, the interface flashed red, but he turned off the alarm and walked toward Xiaowei. Look at me, Xiaowei. Stealing is wrong, but who is not afraid of death? The northern camp teaches you to be suspicious, we are different. He picked up the battery and handed back the toolkit, his voice as steady as a rock. Guan Yu, put the tube down. She is not an enemy, she is a team. Jing Xian, what do you think? We survived the heat wave, feng shui, because we trust each other. Guan Yu hesitated and Tai Guan calmed down. Boss, you are soft-hearted. But if she continues... Junjie interrupted. I believe she will grow up like you taught her a stick. We will share the resources. Xiaowei, choose, stay and help, but outside the corpse tide, you will die alone. Xiaowei's tears froze on her helmet, and she knelt down. I stay. I'm sorry, I was wrong. You are like family, and I'm afraid of losing this feeling. She stood up, grabbed the stick, and her eyes changed from despair to determination. The flame of growth was ignited in crisis. Guan Yu snorted and patted her on the shoulder. Okay, prove yourself. Come and block the corpse on the left. Jing Xian breathed a sigh of relief and handed the spray. Okay, everyone, take action. Junjie, you are a good leader, we will listen to you. The conflict was resolved and the team reunited. Junjie felt relieved. This is growth, not just modifying equipment, but also welding people's hearts. He shouted, abandon the factory. The suburban stronghold, the map shows 5 kilometers, go to the sewer. Guan Yu opens the way, Jing Xian protects the center. Xiaowei, cut off from behind with me. Automatic system cover, retreat. They rushed to the passage, and the power grid exploded for the last time, burning the group of corpses following them. Guan Yu smashed open the iron cover of the sewer, and the snowy wind poured in, and he chased after him with a roar. Quick! This damn place can't hold on anymore. The sewers were cold, the water frozen into ice, and the mossy walls illuminated by headlamps. Junjie interface navigation, go straight for 200 meters and turn onto the street. The storm intensified, the speed was 50 meters, and it was minus 30 degrees, the equipment was kept warm. Jingxian helped Xiaowei. Are you okay? You were scared to death just now, but you made the right choice. Xiaowei nodded, holding the stick tightly. Yes, thank you. I will practice well and don't panic anymore. Guan Yu was exploring the road ahead, knocking on the ice. Boss, the sound of corpses behind is weak, but the wind and snow are strong, and the team must be careful. Rush. They climbed out of the sewer, the ruined streets roared in the storm, the wreckage of high-rise buildings looked like ghosts, and the snow particles hit their faces like needles. The tide of corpses roared from afar, but the wind speed soared to 70 meters, and acid rain fell, corroding the armor. Junjie tightened his grip on the team. Let's move forward as a group. The suburbs are close, don't break up. The storm passed, and the cold wave rushed like a beast, forcing them to go deep into the shadow of the ruins, step by step, and there was a faint glimmer of hope on the road ahead. The wind in the ruined street was like a howling ghost, and the snow particles turned into acid rain in an instant, hitting the armor with a sizzling corrosive sound. Junjie's headlight swept across the ruins, and the steel bars of tall buildings poked into the gray sky like twisted bones. The team moved forward together, stepping on a mixture of broken glass and snow. Every step was like a tug of war in the mud. The interface showed that the acidity index soared, the pH value was as low as 3.2, the anti-corrosion layer of the equipment began to foam, and white smoke appeared around the edges. Damn it, this rain isn't snow anymore, it's a sulfuric acid bath. Guan Yu opened the way, waving the iron pipe and knocking open a pile of collapsed billboards. The rain slid down his helmet, and small pits appeared on the shoulders of the armor. Boss, the equipment can't hold up, acid rain will eat in, and the virus will seep in. Jingxian followed closely behind, slinging the medical bag on her shoulder. She took Xiaowei's arm. Xiaowei, keep your head down, don't let the rain get into the seam of the helmet. Junjie, we have to find cover, the exposed skin will fester. Xiaowei nodded, the stick turned white in her grip, and the rainwater hit the armor on her legs, making a slight hissing sound. She whispered, thank you. I thought the wind and snow were miserable enough, but this acid rain is like God spitting. Junjie glanced at the interface, and the red alert kept flashing. The remaining effectiveness of the anti-corrosion layer was only 45%. If this continued, the equipment would be scrapped within half an hour, and viruses and acid would invade directly. His heart sank, but his fingers were already touching the toolkit. Stop. Find a corner, and I'll modify it. Guan Yu, guard the surroundings. Jingxian, check everyone's wounds. Xiaowei, help me pass the parts. They squeezed into the ruins of a half-collapsed shopping mall. Rain poured down outside, and the air was filled with the smell of burning metal. Junjie squatted down and took apart the outer layer of his armor, revealing the alloy frame inside. He pulled out of his bag a few remaining tubes of silicone sealant and a small bottle of epoxy he had picked up from the factory. It was originally used to repair circuits, but now it had to be put to a new use. This acid rain is the product of climate collapse, sulfuric acid mixed with nitrogen oxides. I had to improvise a layer of paint. Jingxian, do you have disinfectant alcohol? Mix it in as a solvent. Jingxian handed over a bottle, her eyes lit up. Your mind is like a doomsday version of Luban. Guan Yu, is there any movement in the rain? Guan Yu put his head out and raised the iron pipe. Rainwater flowed down the pipe and bubbles appeared. Yes. In the garbage pile on the left, 2 corpses were crawling in the rain. Their skin was soaked, but they moved faster, as if they were soaked in stimulants. He roared, rushed out of the shelter, and hit the first one with the iron pipe. Half of the corpse's body melted, but its claws were extended, and the rain made them slippery, so they escaped the first blow. Guan Yu cursed, you sour ghost, get out. He swept sideways, and the pipe broke the arm of the corpse. Black blood mixed with acid rain sprayed out. He dodged to avoid it, and kicked the second one over. His head hit the cement, and mud exploded. Clear! But there are many corpses hidden in the rain, boss, hurry up. Junjie nodded and moved quickly. He mixed the resin and alcohol into a paste, added silicone to strengthen the viscosity, and stirred it into gray-white paint. This stuff is not a professional anti-corrosion, but it can neutralize acid and extend the life of the equipment for 2 hours. Guan Yu, come back, I will paint your shoulders first, the scratches are the most serious. Guan Yu stepped back and took off his shoulder armor, revealing the red and swollen edges of the skin. Come on, boss, your modification is better than the technicians in the military camp. I will go out for patrol after painting. Xiaowei came closer and handed over the wrench. Junjie, let me help fix the frame. I was in the sewer just now, and I thought I was finished. Now that you are so steady, I have to learn a little more. Her voice was trembling, but her eyes were much firmer. Junjie smiled and applied the paint to Guan Yu's armor. The sizzling sound turned into a muffled sound. Okay, Xiaowei, clamp it here. Survival in the apocalypse does not depend on luck alone, but also on brains and hands. Remember, if the equipment is broken, the person will be useless. Jing Xian was inspecting the team at the side. She sprayed and disinfected Xiaowei's leg armor. The skin is not broken, but acid rain has seeped into the microslits, and the risk of viruses is high. Before everyone takes off their helmets, I will scan them first. She activated the medical scanner, and the blue light scanned Guan Yu's arm. Guan Yu, your wound has been sealed, but the rain is toxin. Drink some of my antidote. I mixed it from the old medicine box to relieve the ulcer. Guan Yu swallowed it and grinned. It's as bitter as Huanglian soup, but thank you, Jing Xian. You are a savior in the end. Jing Xian patted him on the back. Sir, Junjie, does the paint work? Junjie tested his armor. Raindrops dripped on the new layer, and only a small smoke came out. It's done. The efficiency has returned to 80%. Now it's your turn, Xiaowei. Paint the legs first. Jing Xian, help Guan Yu fix his back. The team took turns to modify. The rain roared outside, but the atmosphere inside was a little warmer. Junjie thought while brushing, this is not only saving equipment, but also welding the team. From Xiaowei's betrayal to the current cooperation, every step makes him more like a leader, not just relying on orders, but relying on innovation to move everyone forward. After the modification, the resource alarm sounded. There were 2 energy bars left for food and only enough water for 1 day. Guan Yu rubbed his stomach. Boss, the suburban stronghold is still far away, and the roar of corpses is close. We have to save money. Jing Xian split the energy bar and divided it into 4 equal parts. Share it. In the apocalypse, hunger is more terrible than corpses. Come, have a bite and talk while walking to avoid getting bored. They gnawed on the sticks and huddled in the wreckage to catch their breath. Acid rain beat on the roof like a drum. Xiaowei took a bite, swallowed it and said, I used to eat kin soup at the northern camp. I always felt that everyone was like a pack of wolves, and they would fall out when they were trying to get food. You are different, Junjie, thank you for not driving me away. Guan Yu chuckled, chewing the stick. A pack of wolves? Haha. When I was in the army, we shared cigarettes in the company and told stories to relieve our boredom. I remember one time during a snow drill, we told ghost stories to scare the recruits, but a wolf really came. He imitated the howl of a wolf, which made Xiaowei chuckle. Brother Guan Yu, your voice makes people run away. Jing Xian answered, her eyes shining. As for me, when I was on shift in the hospital, my colleague shared the secret recipe of home-cooked dishes and said, even if the end is coming, you have to know how to cook porridge. Now think about it, these little things make people endure. Junjie, what about you? Engineers always have strange tricks. Tell me about the first time you modified it. Jie smiled and dimmed the interface to save power. When I was in my junior year, the school laboratory had a power outage. I used waste batteries and tape to build a generator and save the entire project. The professor said I was crazy, but I feel that crises are opportunities. Just like now, this paint, which was originally used to build roads, has become a life-saving layer. Stories are like warm currents that melt away the chill of acid rain. Xiaowei whispered, listen, you are like a family. My mother used to say that the reunion dinner is the most delicious. Now, this energy bar is also delicious. Guan Yu patted her on the shoulder. Yes, girl, you have grown up. Eat enough, and I will teach you how to smash corpses in the rain later. The emotional ties are tightened, and the trust of the team is like a new coating, and they are tenacious. They stood up. Junjie took the lead. Let's go. The navigation shows that there are the remains of an old military stronghold 2 kilometers ahead, and there may be supplies. Hold together, the rain has calmed down a bit. They broke out of cover, acid rain swiping at them, and the new layer on their armor blocked most of the corrosion. Guan Yu was in front, and the iron pipe swept away the rubble on the roadside. Boss, in the building complex on the right, the heat source signal is weak, but there is movement, not an ordinary corpse. Jing Xian helped Xiao Wei. Be careful, there may be many mutations, the virus plus acid rain will grow a carapace. Xiao Wei raised the stick. I will follow, so I won't hold you back. Deep in the ruins, a sloping concrete fortress came into view, the remains of an old military stronghold, with broken barbed wire and mottled camouflage paint on the door. Junjie interface scan. There are supply signals inside, ammunition boxes, medical kits, and even spare batteries. But the heat source is dense, and more than a dozen red dots are abnormally distorted. Found it. The supplies are inside, but they are guarding a group of mutated corpses. They look like acid rain bubbles, their claws have turned into hooks, and their skin is as hard as iron. Guan Yu clenched the iron pipe and narrowed his eyes. Good things have guards, it's exciting. Boss, why are you suddenly here? Jing Xian checked the medical kit. I can treat the injuries, but the mutant zombie virus has a high concentration, so we have to fight it from a distance. Xiao Wei swallowed, but her voice was steady. Let's work together. Junjie's modification gives us a chance. Junjie nodded, and a blueprint flashed in his mind. Use the remaining resin to make a simple trap to lure the corpse out. Plan. I will set up a bait trap, Guan Yu will attack, Jing Xian will provide backup, and Xiao Wei will guard the flanks. Go in and get supplies, and the suburbs will be stable. They approached the fortress, and the mutated zombies roared from inside. The sound of hooks scraping the wall was like fingernails scratching a blackboard. The crisis was approaching like acid rain, but the team's tacit understanding made the road ahead no longer lonely. The iron gate of the fortress creaked in the acid rain, like an old cow panting. Junjie's flashlight beam swept through the broken barbed wire, reflecting the shadows inside. The low roars of the mutated zombies were getting closer and closer, mixed with the harsh sound of claws scraping the wall, and the air was filled with the strange smell of carrion and metal rust. They squatted behind the remaining wall, and Junjie arranged in a low voice, remember the plan. I used the remaining resin and scrap iron pipes to make bait traps, throw them in to attract the corpses, and the traps will stick to their claws. Guan Yu, you take the lead and smash the way, Jing Xian and Xiao Wei stay behind, guarding the flanks. After entering, go straight to the supply room, I will unlock it. Guan Yu nodded, turning the iron pipe in his hand, and rainwater dripped down the pipe. Understood, boss. The corpse here looks like it has been soaked in acid, and the skin is thick and the claws are sharp. I have to get close and do it hard. Girl, Xiao Wei, hold the stick firmly and learn from me. Don't show off, save your life first. Xiao Wei swallowed. She raised the stick, a trace of hesitation flashed in her eyes, but she gritted her teeth. Brother Guan Yu, I can do it. I didn't lose my chain in the rain just now, and I won't lose it this time. Jing Xian patted her shoulder and tightened the medical bag. Let's work together. Xiao Wei, if you get bruised, call me immediately. Junjie, are the traps ready? Junjie pulled out the resin paste and a few broken pipes from his bag, and quickly glued them together into a simple bait stuffed with a piece of stinky meat picked up from the mall, and wrapped with a preservative layer. He activated a small timer, modified from an old watch, which would emit a low-frequency buzz to attract corpses. It's done. Throw it into the crack of the door, and as soon as the buzz sounds, the corpses will come out. Action! He aimed at the crack under the iron door, flicked his hand, and the bait rolled in, and the buzz immediately sounded, like an amplified version of a mobile phone vibration. It's fried inside. The roars of the mutated zombies surged out like a tidal wave, and the first hook-clawed monster broke through the wire. Its skin was covered with hard shells soaked by acid rain, and its eyes were as red-hot coals. It pounced on the bait, stepped into the resin trap with its claws, and was instantly covered in mucus, making a sizzling pulling sound. "Coming!" Guan Yu roared, and swung out the iron pipe, hitting the corpse's knee with the first blow. The hard shell cracked and black blood spattered. He dodged the hook of the second one sideways, and the thing slashed through the air, making a sound of wind. "These guys are faster than those in the sewer." Xiao Wei, the one on the left, poked the eye with the stick. Xiao Wei rushed forward, the stick thrust out, and hit the corpse's eye, but it swiped back with its claws, and a spark was drawn on the shoulder of her armor, and she staggered back. "Ah! It won't fall." Jing Xian pulled her back and the scanner lit up. "Xiao Wei, don't fight hard." "Guan Yu, the three on the right, the hooks are poisonous." "I saw green liquid." Guan Yu laughed, swept the iron pipe, knocked one over, stepped on its neck and crushed it. "Poison? When I was a soldier, I tried to bite snakes in the jungle." "Boss, the door is open, come in." Junxia took advantage of the chaos and rushed forward to avoid a corpse stuck in the trap. The hook claws were struggling in the resin, like an insect trapped in the mud. He touched the iron door and pushed away the rust with his fingers, revealing an old electronic lock, military grade, but after the virus outbreak, the power was cut off, leaving only mechanical backup. The interior of the fortress is like a maze, with dusty surveillance wires on the walls and bullet casings and severed limbs scattered on the ground. The heat source scan showed that the supply room was at the end of the corridor, but there was a trap signal in the middle, an old minefield with a pressure plate connected to a blast tube. Junxia's heart beat faster, but a blueprint flashed in his mind. "Guan Yu, suppress the corpses, I'll go around and crack them." Jing Xian, prepare to bandage Xiao Wei's shoulder is injured. Xiao Wei gasped, holding the stick on the ground. "I'm fine, it's just a scratch." Junxia, be careful of those boards. I heard in the camp before that military leftovers will explode when stepped on. Guan Yu led the way, and the iron pipe danced like a windmill, smashing open the hard shells of the two reinforced corpses. "Girl, save your strength. These corpses are soaked in acid rain, their movements are slippery, but their brains are stupid. Look at me." He hit hard, and the pipe broke the hook of the corpse. The fragments flew, and the green liquid spilled to the ground, sizzling and smoking. Behind her, Xiao Wei suddenly froze, and her eyes flashed with the shadow of the past, the betrayal in the northern camp. She had betrayed her teammates in exchange for food. Now Guan Yu's roar made her mind buzz. What if I hesitate again and harm everyone? She gripped the stick tightly and whispered, "Brother Guan Yu, I'm sorry. I used to." Guan Yu glanced at her, and blocked an incoming corpse with the iron pipe, and kicked it away. "Don't mention the past. You are ours now, girl. Smash it." He handed over one end of the pipe and asked her to hit it together. Xiao Wei followed up and made up for it with a stick, and the corpse's head exploded. She gasped, "Thank you, I won't hold you back anymore." Jing Xian sprayed disinfectant spray beside her. "Good job, Xiao Wei." "Guan Yu, your arm was scratched, and green liquid seeped into it." "Stop, I'll take care of it." Guan Yu stepped back, and Jing Xian quickly tore open the medical cloth and applied detoxification paste. "This is for acid rain. It stops bleeding and neutralizes it. Grit your teeth, warrior." Junxia has reached the middle of the corridor. The pressure plate is hidden under the gravel. He uses the interface to scan and avoid the 3 red dots. These traps are from the old army. If you step on them wrongly, they will collapse. Guan Yu, lead the corpse around. I'm passing. He jumped over the first board, tapping the ground with his toes like a cat, and the corpse roared behind him. The door lock of the supply room was a mechanical turntable. He spun his fingers and listened to the sound of gears, an engineer's intuition. He calculated the password sequence, 739, inferring from the wear marks on the door. Click. The lock opened, the door opened, and the shelves inside were filled with ammunition boxes, medical kits, spare batteries, and even climate module parts. Supplies are in hand. Guan Yu, retreat. Junjie grabbed an ammunition box and stuffed it into his backpack. With the other hand, he picked up heat dissipation chips and heat-resistant alloy sheets. These are treasures for upgrading equipment. The heat wave suddenly returns, the air is as muggy as a steamer, the acid rain turns into steaming heat mist, and the interface alarm, the temperature soars by 42 degrees, and the equipment cooling system is overloaded. The air inside the fortress was distorted, and the corpses moved faster, as if they had been beaten to death. Guan Yu dragged the iron pipe back, and an enhanced corpse hook grazed his leg armor, tearing a gash. The heat wave is coming. These corpses are even crazier in the heat, boss, the equipment is so hot. Jingxian helped Xiaowei, and opened the medicine bottle in the medical bag. Shirongbian, Junjie, the heat wave and the virus will make the wound infected quickly. We have to get out quickly. Xiaowei gasped, her shoulder hurt like burning, but she helped Jingxian carry the medical kit. Sister Jingxian, I can hold on. Brother Guan Yu, your legs. The modification blueprint flashed through Junjie's mind. He squatted by the supply room, quickly disassembled a spare battery, and integrated the heat dissipation chip into the team's armor interface. Stop. The heat wave is the heat peak of climate collapse. I use these new parts to upgrade the heat dissipation. The alloy sheet conducts heat and the chip controls temperature, which can double the durability. Guan Yu, first paint your leg armor to seal the wound. Guan Yu. Squatting down, the iron pipe warned, boss, your hand speed is like magic. It's so hot that I'm sweating, and the corpse is still chasing me. Junjie's fingers are flying, the chip is welded to the leg armor, and the alloy sheet diffuses the heat. It's done. The efficiency has increased to 95%, and the heat wave can last for 3 hours. Jingxian, connect your medical scanner to the battery. Don't lose power. Xiaowei, the shoulder armor is fixed. I will add a layer of heat resistance. Xiaowei came closer and handed over the tool. Junjie, let me help clamp it. I almost panicked again during the battle just now. But you didn't blame me, you made me feel like being reborn. Junjie smiled, and the welding gun sizzled. Girl, who doesn't have a bad history in the apocalypse? The point is now, don't trust me, that's right, it was done. It was much more stable when you smashed the corpse. Jingxian bandaged Guan Yu's leg and said quickly, yes, Xiaowei, you are growing up quickly. Guan Yu, the wound is sealed, and we are all the same. Guan Yu stood up, his leg armor was much cooler, and he waved it to test his strength. Boss, this upgrade is better than the one in the armory. Girl, learn from it, you will be the main attack in the next heat wave. Xiaowei nodded, her eyes lit up, okay, brother Guan Yu. I will not let you down. During the team interaction, the shadow of betrayal faded, and the patience of the old members and the efforts of the new members were welded together like new parts. The supply boxes were filled with backpacks, ammunition for Guan Yu, medical kits for Jingxian, and batteries and parts for Junjie. They rushed out of the fortress, wrapped in heat mist, but their armor was as solid as a rock. Outside, the acid rain stopped and was replaced by sultry wind. The interface suddenly flashed red, the storm warning was upgraded. Extreme heat waves are followed by sandstorms, signals scurry along suburban paths, and waves of corpses may be swept in by the wind. Junjie took the lead and scanned the ruins ahead. The supplies have been obtained, 2 kilometers outside the countryside. But the storm is approaching, so we must speed up. Guan Yu, drive forward. Jingxian, monitor the injuries. Xiaowei, be alert to the heat source. Everyone, hold on, after this heat wave is over, we will be reborn. As they moved forward, the hot wind howled, and the sand began to beat on the armor. Crisis followed closely, but the resilience of the team made the road ahead shine with the light of hope. The sand grains were like countless fine needles, hitting the armor with a dense crackling sound. The hot wind carried the remaining temperature of the fortress, causing Junjie's interface display to flicker. He led the way, stepping on the gravel road, scanning the outline of the ruins ahead, collapsed billboards and twisted street lights, like the broken bones of the city. Stay in formation, he whispered, and his voice reached everyone's ears through the communicator. The sandstorm is coming quickly, and the line of sight will drop to 0. Guan Yu, go ahead and explore the way. Jing Xian, monitor everyone's body temperature. Xiao Wei, don't loosen the supplies in your backpack. There is a suburban forest belt 2 kilometers away from us. If you push through, you can breathe. Guan Yu nodded, shouldering the iron pipe, and narrowed his eyes. Boss, the sand got into your eyes, and the smell of corpses is also strong. The wind after these heat waves probably brought the corpses in the suburbs over. I heard a low roar, not one or two, but a group. He stepped forward, his boots sank into the loose soil, the hot wind suddenly turned, the temperature dropped sharply, and the interface alarm sounded harshly. The climate has reversed. The dust storm is mixed with ice crystals, and the blizzard is expected to arrive within 5 minutes. The hot mist in the air condensed into frost, and the sound of the wind turned into a sharp whistling sound, like a ghost crying or a wolf howling. Blizzard? Xiao Wei panted, the medical kit swaying on her shoulders. She rubbed her eyes, and the sand mixed with tears blurred her vision. Just now it was as hot as a steamer, but now it's so cold that my teeth are chattering. Junjia, what's going on with this weather? It's like God is going crazy. Jing Xian tightened her grip. On his arm, the medical scanner lit up with a blue light. The trick of climate collapse is that after the heat peak is a cold valley. The thermal layer of the armor is turned on. Xiao Wei, your body temperature has dropped to 35 degrees. Don't panic, I will add a layer of thermal patch for you. Guan Yu, the heat source signal in front is rushing around. The tide of corpses has been pushed by the wind. Junjia stopped and squatted down to check the map module. The wind and snow had begun to hit his face, and the snowflakes and sand scraped his mask like blades. He pulled out the spare chip and navigation circuit board he had just picked up from his backpack. Military parts for the fortress. They were originally used to lock satellites, but after the virus, the signal was as weak as a ghost. Everyone, come closer, he said, and his fingers quickly dismantled the interface. Blizzards will cause fog, and the line of sight will return to zero. The zombies will rush at the sound of the wind. Guan Yu, you block the front. I modified the navigation, added an inertial positioning module, and used the internal gyroscope and magnetic field to compensate, so that you can travel through the foggy area without getting lost. Jing Xian, prepare to deal with frostbite. This cold wave will open the wound. Guan Yu turned around and tightened his grip on the iron pipe. He could faintly see black shadows shaking in the snowy wind. Corpses poured out from behind the ruins. The heat wave made their skin and flesh torn, but when the cold wind blew, their movements became even more violent, like frozen beasts going crazy. Here they come. A large number, at least 50 of them, he roared, and the first corpse pounced on him, its claws covered in frost, and it smashed into Guan Yu's breastplate. The iron pipe swept across, breaking its arm, and the black blood froze into ice slag and sprinkled on the ground. These guys are slippery in the snow, boss, hurry up. Girl, Xiao Wei, don't miss the flanks. Jing Xian, you retreat, I will carry it alone. Xiao Wei raised her stick, snowflakes filled her field of vision. She poked a corpse in the leg, but it slipped and got up again, its roar swallowed by the wind. Brother Guan Yu, they are not afraid of the cold. My stick froze. Jing Xian pulled her from behind and sprayed hot mist to disinfect. Xiao Wei, step back. Guan Yu, your arm is cracking due to the heat wave, and the risk of frostbite is high. I'll take care of it. She rushed forward, threw away the medical bag, and shouted, Guan Yu, raise your arm to melt the ice, but you have to move less, don't be brave. Guan Yu knocked over 2 of them with one tube, and black and red ice splashed on the snow. He gasped and laughed, girls, save it. When I was in the army, I gritted my teeth and endured the march in the snow. What does this bit of frostbite mean? Boss, where's the navigation? The fog has come up, and I can't see the road clearly. The wind and snow intensified, the vision was completely white, corpses roared like a tide, and the team was forced behind a broken wall. Junjia's welding gun buzzed, and he welded the chip into the navigation module. The old circuit board was wound into a loop, and the inertial positioning was activated. It's done. This thing uses the accelerometer of the armor to calculate the displacement. Even if the satellite is broken, it can still point to the suburban forest belt. The accuracy error does not exceed 10 meters. Everyone, follow me. Guan Yu, suppress the corpse group for 5 minutes, and we will break out around the edge. The interface lit up green, and the navigation arrows flashed in the fog. Junjie took the lead and rushed out, his footsteps making a muffled sound on the snow. The tide of corpses followed like a shadow, and a mutated corpse rushed from the side, claws clawing at Xiaowei's back. She screamed and turned around, but the stick blocked it, but it was not strong enough. The corpse pressed against her, and the ice claws cut open the edge of the armor. Ah! Sister Jingxian, it. Jingxian rushed over, pierced the corpse's neck with a medical needle, and injected the remaining virus inhibitor. Get away! You monster! The corpse twitched and fell to the ground. Xiaowei got up, her face pale. Thank you. I almost froze, my limbs are weak. Guan Yu fought back from the front and swept 3 of them with the iron pipe. In the snowflakes, his leg armor began to be frosted. Boss, there are too many corpses. The wind and snow amplified the sound, and they heard us gasping for breath and came together. Girl, change positions. I will teach you a combined attack. The stick is low and I'm hitting the head. Xiaowei nodded, gritted her teeth, and knocked down one of them with 1 blow. Guan Yu smashed the head. Good job. Girl, Jingxian, you are running out of medicine. The team advanced half a kilometer, and the blizzard peaked. The wind speed exceeded 80 kilometers per hour, and the snow and fog were like a wall. The tide of corpses was pushed into waves by the wind, and hit the remaining wall with a crashing roar. The resource alarms suddenly sounded. The backpack supplies are exhausted. The medical kit picked up at the fort only had 2 doses left, the ammunition box was empty, and the food bars, only 3 compressed nutrition bars were left. When divided among 4 people, there was less than half a bar for each person. Hunger was like a beast gnawing at her. Xiaowei couldn't hold on at first. She staggered to her knees, and snow water seeped into her armor. Junjie. I'm hungry and dizzy. I just carried the box and all my strength was exhausted. Brother Guan Yu, you can eat. I'll hold on. Jingxian squatted down and checked her pulse. Xiaowei, hypothermia, hunger, and frostbite will cause shock. Everyone is the same. My hands are shaking and the dose is not accurate. Guan Yu, your wound is bleeding, don't hold on. Guan Yu gasped, holding the iron pipe on the ground and smashing open an approaching corpse. Girl, get up. Doomsday. It's normal to be hungry here. But we are a team. Who will carry the box? He took out the last half of the nutrition bar, broke it in half, and gave 1 half to Xiaowei. He took a bite of the other half. Boss, make a decision. The tide of corpses is blocking the road, and there are no resources. There is still 1 kilometer to go. Junjie looked at everyone. Their armors were frosted in the wind and snow, but their eyes were firm. The heat wave of the fortress flashed through his mind, when the team was welded as tight as parts. Now, the Cold Valley test was even more severe. Hunger bit his heart, but he took a deep breath, and the interface navigation pointed steadily. Don't go around, rush. Running out of resources is a crisis, but we have each other. Guan Yu, you eat half of it and maintain your fighting power. You are the shield. Jingxian, leave your medicine to Xiaowei. She is young and recovers quickly. Xiaowei, you carry my tool bag and I will open the way. Hungry? This is the price of growth. From the fortress to the suburbs, we are not scattered. Trust me, there is hope ahead. Xiaowei's eyes were wet. She took the nutritional bar and swallowed half a mouthful. Junjie, you don't want to eat it? That's not what leadership is like. We must be fair. Guan Yu patted her on the shoulder and waved away a corpse with an iron pipe. Girl, listen to the boss. He is an engineering brain, we its muscle. Boss, your decision-making is mature, not as impatient as when you first left the city. Jingxian nodded and sprayed the last dose on Guan Yu's injury. Yes, Junjie, we are all changing. Let's take the easy way out. Touching is like a warm current, diluting hunger and cold. Guan Yu swept forward wildly, and 2 iron pipes were broken, but he continued the fight with the broken pipes, roaring over the wind and snow. Come on, zombies. I fight for the team. Xiaowei followed, swinging the stick steadily, hunger turning into anger. Brother Guanyu, I won't delay back legs. Jing Xian helped Junjie and shared the medical scan data. The body temperature is stable and the navigation is accurate. Junjie, your leadership makes me feel like home. Junjie smiled, and the navigation module in his hand buzzed, leading them through the fog wall. At the peak of the zombie tide, a big attack hit. More than a dozen mutated corpses were wrapped in snow and rushed towards them. Guanyu blocked it alone, and the iron pipe shattered. He grabbed the corpses' claws with his bare hands and twisted them, shouting, "Boss, the road is open." But my arm. Jing Xian rushed forward, tear the cloth and bandage. Hold on, soldier. This is your sacrifice, we remember it. Xiaowei took over the position and blinded a corpse's eye with a stick. Brother Guanyu, let me block the side. The team helped each other like gears. The wave of corpses gradually receded, and the wind and snow eased slightly. Suddenly, the interface dinged, signal capture. The heat source in the suburban forest belt is stable, and the frequency of safe strongholds flashes old military broadcast towers, survivor beacons. Junjie's eyes lit up. It's done. The stronghold signal, half a kilometer away, there is a heat source and a barrier. Hope is here, everyone, work harder. In the wind and snow, a green light appeared faintly on the road ahead. The corpses roared away, the team's steps became brisk, and the pain of hunger turned into fuel for progress. The wind and snow gradually weakened, and the snow and fog dispersed like an ebbing tide, revealing the twisted road sign ahead. Suburban forest belt, 500 meters. The green light of Junjie's interface flashes, the navigation arrow points steadily to the faint green shadow, and the tree crowns sway in the wind, like a long-lost breath. The team's footsteps were heavy but firm, the pain of hunger was diluted by hope, and every step made the sound of crunching snow. Guanyu was leading the way, still holding the broken iron pipe in his hand. Sweat mixed with snow slipped from the gap in the mask. Boss, the signal is stable. The heat source of the stronghold is strong, and there is probably a barrier and generator. Girls, hold on, home is almost here. Xiaowei gasped and held the stick on the ground. The combined blow just now made her arms numb, but her eyes brightened. Brother Guanyu, thank you for teaching me that low sweep. Without you just now, I would have been knocked down long ago. Junjie, this snowstorm is finally going to stop, right? Lindiley, there is a tree to block the wind, so the corpses can't get in, right? Jing Xian held the medical kit and scanned everyone. The body temperature has risen, and the hunger is still there, but Guanyu, your wound has stopped bleeding. Junjie, we are like a family, supporting each other. Junjie nodded, flashing back to the days when he set out from the fortress. At that time, he was just an engineer working on modifications, but now he is the backbone of the leader. Hunger gnawed at his stomach, but he gritted his teeth. Yes, Xiaowei, you crawled out from the shadow of that betrayal and are now a staunch partner. There are no secrets in the team, and everyone can trust them. The stronghold is in sight. Don't let up, the corpse roar is still behind. As soon as he finished speaking, the ground suddenly trembled, and a low roar came from the edge of the forest belt like thunder. Interface alarm masterpiece, abnormal heat source. The scale of the zombie tide, hundreds. The group of corpses pushed by the wind and snow unexpectedly gathered in the forest belt, and the fiercest waves crashed into them. Dark shadows emerged from the shadows of the trees. The mutated corpse was in the lead, its claws were wrapped in residual snow, and its eyes were as red as will-o'-the-wisps. Damn! The fiercest wave! Guanyu roared, throwing away the broken pipe, grabbing the steel bars on the roadside as a weapon, and rushed forward to block the first mutant zombie. Its body was swollen, and the carrion left by the heat wave cracked in the cold wind, bringing up snow dust when it rushed forward. Boss, retreat! This group is attracted by the heat source of the forest belt, and they are swarming like crazy. Girls, flank the enemy, I will carry the front alone. The steel bar swept across, hitting the corpse's head, and the brain was frozen into ice and splashed, but his arm went numb, the old injury recurred, and blood seeped out of the armor. Xiao Wei screamed and swung the stick at a corpse on the flank, hitting its knee and causing it to slip. Brother Guan Yu, don't be brave. Junjie, this zombie tide is denser than in the city. How come there are so many in the forest? She thought about how she almost betrayed the team, and her heart tightened, but now, she gritted her teeth to fill her position. Sweeping the stick twice, I won't hesitate anymore. Sister Jingxian, watch the back for me. Jingxian nodded, and the medical syringe was ready. She sprayed the thaw and shouted, Xiao Wei, great! You have grown up, the shadow has dispersed, and we are one. Guan Yu, stand back, your pulse is beating wildly, risk of serious injury. Junjie's heart sank. This was the last level. The suburbs were supposed to be a breather, but instead they became the door to death. He scanned the tide of corpses, and the interface showed that they were attracted by the heat source in the forest belt, perhaps the warmth leaking from the stronghold, and the number exceeded expectations. As an engineer, he instinctively wanted to modify, but now it was time for battle. Don't retreat. Fight back. He shouted, pulling out the modification tools from his backpack. The inertial positioning module welded just now when the wind and snow was still warm, and there were spare chips and heat dissipation alloys inside. Guan Yu, suppress the front for 2 minutes. Xiao Wei and Jingxian, use the combined attack I taught on the flanks. I will strengthen the equipment. This wave of zombies is fierce, but we have modified armor. Activate the fire net trap. The team turned like gears, and Guan Yu's steel bars danced vigorously, knocking over 5 or 6 corpses, and roared over the wind and snow. Come on, monsters. When I was a soldier, I saw a big scene in snow ambushes. What is this wave of corpses? But the group of corpses was too dense, and a mutated corpse pounced from a blind corner. The claws tore open his leg armor, and cold black blood spurted out. He staggered to his knees, and the steel bar fell out of his hand. Ah! The leg is broken. Boss, it bit through. The blood surged like a spring and turned into red ice. Guan Yu's face turned pale, and he forced himself to get up. Girls, leave me alone and clear the way. Guan Yu. Jingxian screamed, rushed over, threw away the medical kit, and tore open his leg armor. The wound was so deep that the bone could be seen, and the virus had penetrated. Her fingers quickly sprayed out the last dose of antidote, and the needle pierced the vein. Hold on, soldier. This is a serious injury, the blood vessel is ruptured. I will stop the bleeding, but you have to lie flat and don't move. She tightened it with a cloth strip, sweat mixed with tears falling down. Junjie, help. His body temperature is dropping, and the infection is fast. Xiao Wei, block the flank. I can only save his life, but the team cannot be messed up. Xiao Wei's heart was as sharp as a knife, and she smashed away a corpse that was rushing towards Jingxian with her stick. Her voice was trembling but firm. Sister Jingxian, I'll block it. Brother Guan Yu, I'll use the combined attack you taught me. I won't let you teach me in vain. She swiped the corpse's leg low, hit the head with a high heel, and the movement was jerky but effective. The shadow completely dissipated, leaving only loyalty to the team. Junjie, I was wrong before and almost hurt everyone. Now, I am a partner, trust me. Junjie saw this and felt warm in his heart. Xiao Wei's transformation was the result of his leadership. He is no longer a lone engineer, but the head of the team. As the zombies approached, he gritted his teeth and removed the heat dissipation chips and heat-resistant alloy plates of his armor. These were his personal parts that were supposed to save his life, but now he had to sacrifice them. Everyone, listen, he shouted, the welding gun in his hand sizzling, welding the chip into the team's collective communication module, cutting the alloy plate into pieces, strengthening the edges of everyone's armor. I will dismantle my personal equipment and strengthen the fire net trap. This thing is activated with a chip and releases a heat wave to burn the corpses, but my armor will be weak and my defense will be reduced by 30%. Guan Yu, Jingxian, strengthen your armor and block the waves. Xiao Wei, follow me and rush into the middle to clear the way. Boss, are you crazy? Guan Yu gasped, his injured leg dragged to the ground, but his eyes were fiery. This is your life-saving equipment, the sacrifice is too big. Jingxian shouted while bandaging, Junjie, don't. Your body temperature will be unstable, What if the cold wind comes in? Xiaowei waved her stick to fend off a corpse, turned to look at him. Junjie, you are a leader, but you can't do this, let's carry it together. Junjie smiled, flashed the welding gun, activated the fire network module, and the red light flickered on the snow. No, this is what a leader should do. From engineer to leader, I have learned not to modify machines, but to modify people's hearts. Sacrifice small parts, replace team iron plates. Believe me, this fire network can burn the way. He rushed forward, threw the module into the middle of the corpses, the chip buzzed, and a heat wave erupted. The flame shot out like a net and wrapped around more than a dozen corpses. The carrion was sizzling and charred, and black smoke mixed with snow rose. The corpses shrieked and dispersed, a gap appeared, and the green shadows in the forest belt became clear. The team seized the opportunity. Guan Yu was lifted up by Jing Xian. He was limping with his injured leg, but he shouted, "Boss, cow! This fire net is like my steel bar, it burns so well." "Girl, Xiaowei, follow up." Xiaowei nodded and swung the stick towards the burned corpse. "Brother Guan Yu, sister Jing Xian, we will pull you away." The shadow is gone. Everyone is united. Jing Xian held Guan Yu with all her strength and shared the medical scan. "The infection is under control. Junjie, your armor alarm is sounding, the cold wind is coming in, stay back." But Junjie was leading the way, and the weakened armor made him feel biting, but he gritted his teeth. "Charge. Point to the light, I see it." The zombie tide collapsed in the embers of the fire net. The mutated leader was knocked over by Xiaowei with a stick. The team pushed and pulled each other through the last 100 meters of snow. Guan Yu's pain turned to anger. "I have a broken leg, but I have to get home." Jing Xian gasped, "Team unity, Guan Yu, you are a hero." Xiaowei wiped away the snow water. "Junjie, thank you for trusting me. We have all changed." Junjie's interface flickered, and his personal body temperature dropped to the warning line, but he looked ahead. At the edge of the forest belt, the beacon of the safe stronghold was lit, the barrier buzzed, and the heat source welcomed guests like a light. The roar of corpses gradually faded away, the siege was broken, footsteps stepped into the green shadow, and the wind and snow finally stopped. The green shadow of the forest belt is like a tired hug, wrapping the team's footsteps. The snow between the tree trunks is soft, and it feels like stepping on an old quilt. Junjie's interface buzzed slightly, and the temperature alarm was still flashing, but the lights of the stronghold ahead were close at hand, and the buzzing sound of the barrier was like the call of an old friend. The wind and snow have stopped, and the air is filled with the smell of moist earth, mixed with the lingering sound of corpses roaring in the distance. He was panting, and the weakened armor made the cold wind penetrate like needles into his bones, but seeing Guan Yu being supported by Jing Xian and Xiaowei exploring the way forward, a warm current surged in his heart. When they set off from the fortress, they were scattered sand, but now they are connected like an iron chain. "Boss, this forest belt is really life-saving," Guan Yu gritted his teeth. A trail of blood trailed from his injured leg. The steel bar was still in his right hand, and the blood froze into red frost. "My legs are like a kite with broken strings. It hurts so much that I want to curse, but when I see the light, it's worth it." "Girls, don't let go, the tails of the corpses are still swaying." Jing Xian held the medical box tightly, and the red light of the scanner scanned Guan Yu's legs. "The pulse is stable, but the infection is on the verge." "Guan Yu, you are a strong man, don't be too pushy, this is a team, not your own battlefield." She turned to look at Xiaowei, her voice soft and firm. "Xiaowei, that stick strike just now was clean and neat. You climbed out of the shadow, and now you seem like a different person." "Junjie, our home is almost here, everyone hold on." Xiaowei wiped off the snow mist on her mask, put the stick on her shoulders, and her eyes lost the hesitation in the past. "Sister Jing Xian, thank you. Brother Guan Yu taught me, and I have mastered it. Junjie, I used to think that I was a burden, but now I know that the team just helps each other. The forest is a little quieter, but the roar behind you, we have to hurry through these ruins." Junjie nodded, quickly calculating the route in his mind. The interface shows that behind the forest belt are suburban ruins, and a broken old bridge spans the last ravine, leading to the entrance of the stronghold. But there was something strange in the heat source scan. The remaining corpses were wandering by the forest, and the aftermath of the storm was still brewing. As an engineer, he is accustomed to looking at structural weaknesses first. Yes, the bridge is the key. But the zombie wave has not completely dissipated, and the storm may come back. Guan Yu, you stay behind. Xiao Wei and Jing Xian, guard the flanks. I will check the road conditions. Resources are running low. There are 2 shots of medical agent left, and the fire network chip is burned out. We have to save it. As they pushed forward, the shadows of the trees gradually thinned out, revealing the edges of the ruins. The remains of collapsed buildings were like the skeletons of giant beasts, and rusty car shells were scattered in the snow. The air suddenly became heavy, dark clouds rolled in the sky, and the roar of the storm was like a beast waking up. Extreme weather came again. This time it was strong winds mixed with acid rain. The raindrops fell like needles on the ground, corroding the exposed rust. The corpse roar was approaching, and the remaining corpses were pushed by the wind and sprang out from the forest belt. A dozen mutated corpses were wrapped in the residual snow. Their claws were sizzling and smoking in the acid rain, and their eyes were shining red with hunger. Damn it, the storm and the zombies have merged. Guan Yu growled, forcing his injured leg to block the front. The steel bar swept across and knocked over an incoming corpse. Acid rain splashed on his armor, making a slight hissing sound. Boss, this rain is poisonous, and the armor won't last long. Girls, keep your masks on. I'll cut it off, and I'll have to clear the way for you even though I'm bleeding. Jing Xuan's heart tightened, and she pulled out the last dose of anti-corrosion paint and sprayed it on Guan Yu's leg injury. Guan Yu, stay back. This acid rain will accelerate the infection, and your blood will be corroded. Team, listen, we are not running away, we are going home. Think about the days when we crawled out of the city. We have become stronger, everyone has a share. Her voice was like a spring breeze, sweeping away everyone's fatigue. Xiao Wei nodded and swung her stick towards a corpse on the side. Brother Guan Yu, it's my turn to protect you now. Junjia, where is the bridge? Junjia scanned the bridge, and the interface glowed with red light. The structure collapsed. The bridge deck was broken 2 meters wide, and there was a deep trench below, where acid rain formed a poisonous stream. The hordes of corpses are approaching, the storm winds are intensifying, and the rain is whipping like a whip. The bridge collapsed. This is a fatal hurdle, but I can repair it. Resources are exhausted, and the only tools left are welding guns and spare alloy wires. Everyone take cover, and I improvise modifications. He rushed to the bridge and removed the last alloy plate of his armor. This was his thermal core. Removing it meant that his body temperature would plummet. But the growth of the team flashed in his eyes, Guan Yu's bloodshed, Xiao Wei's determination, and Jing Xuan's encouragement. He gritted his teeth. From engineer to leader, what I have learned is not only welding iron, but also welding people's hearts. Believe me, this bridge will be opened. Guan Yu roared to block the 3 corpses, and the steel bars broke. He grabbed a fragment of the car shell with his bare hands and used it as a shield. Blood spurted out from the lead wound, mixed with acid rain and burning the skin. Boss, do it. I built an avalanche bridge when I was a soldier. What does this fracture mean? Xiao Wei, attack the left wing together. Jing Xian, look at my injury, it hurts so much. He smashed the jaw of a corpse with one punch, and the blood was mixed with sweat, but the old injury made him kneel down and gasp, damn it, my legs are numb, the virus is biting, but you move forward, I am your back. Xiao Wei's heart was like a knife. She swept the 2 corpses with her stick, and blocked the side of Guan Yu. Brother Guan Yu, don't fall. From the day you taught me how to sweep low, I vowed not to hold you back. Now, we are bathing in blood together. Sister Jing Xian, what else is in the medical kit? Junjia, I'll fix the alloy for you. She threw down the stick and rushed to the bridge, holding the broken spot with both hands. The acid rain hit her back, and the armor hissed, but she gritted her teeth and said, I crawled out of the mud of betrayal, now the team is fearless, let's cross the bridge. Jing Xian shouted while spraying the detoxifying mist, her voice trembling but powerful. Guan Yu, you are seriously injured and rotten, your blood vessels are about to collapse. I will use the last injection of inhibitor to plunge it in. When the needle penetrated, Guan Yu groaned, stood up and continued to block. Girl, thank you. This injection is like fire, it woke me up. Jingxian, are you? Our heart inspires everyone, we are not survivors, we are warriors. She turned to help Xiaowei, the medical kit was empty, only empty bottles were left, the resources are gone, but the morale is full. Junjie, your wit is the savior, from the fortress to here, we have all grown up, like a family. Junjie's hands moved quickly, the welding gun sizzled, and the alloy wire was welded into a temporary bracket to span the fracture. The thermal panels he removed were integrated into the bridge deck to strengthen the structure. The interface showed that the stability had increased to 70%, which was enough, but his body temperature had dropped to the dangerous level, and the cold wind was cutting into his lungs like a knife. It's done! This is an impromptu repair, using the fragments of the car shell as beams and tying them with alloy wires. No matter how fierce the storm is, you can survive it. The zombies came in, and a mutated corpse jumped onto the bridge and grabbed Xiaowei with its claws. Junjie pulled her back and swung the tool to smash it open himself. Xiaowei, cross the bridge. Guan Yu, Jingxian, keep up, this is our growth test, charge fearlessly. The team pushed each other. Guan Yu was held up by Jingxian and Xiaowei, and climbed the bridge in blood, with pieces of steel still waving in his hands. Boss, this bridge is as stable as my bones. The acid rain burned me, and the corpse claws bit me, but it's at the door of my house. Roar. He knocked over the last corpse on the bridge, staining the bridge with blood, and the pain of casualties turned into a roar. Jingxian gasped for encouragement. Guan Yu, you are a hero. Xiaowei, your replacement saved us, the team's fearlessness takes root from here. Junjie, the cold wind has entered your armor, stay back. Xiaowei wiped off the blood and sweat and held the stick on the ground. Sister, brother Guan Yu, we are all hurt, but our hearts are not. Junjie, thank you for trusting me. From the shadow to now, I have grown, just like you, from an engineer to a leader. They crossed the bridge, and at the end of the ruins was the iron gate of the stronghold. The lights behind the high wall swayed, and the barrier buzzed like a heartbeat. But there is a last line of defense at the door. Several automatic turrets flash red, scanning for intruders. The remaining corpses follow in the storm, and the acid rain pours. Junjie's interface locked the signal. Security at the door, we have to prove it's a human being, not a corpse. Team, prepare for the last fight. Guan Yu gasped and stood firm. Jingxian held the empty box tightly. Xiaowei raised her stick. Junjie was in front, their fearless eyes locked on the door, and amid the roar of the storm, their footsteps touched the edge of hope. The acid rain from the storm whipped against the iron door, and the automatic turret behind the door buzzed and turned. The red light swept over the team, as if examining a pile of suspicious mud. Junjie's heartbeat was in sync with the interface alarm, and his body temperature had dropped to the blue edge. But the old message number of the fortress flashed in his mind, the stronghold communication channel, which he had marked on the map. The tails of the corpse group were still flapping behind, and a dozen mutated corpses were wrapped in the rain curtain, their claws scraping the ground making a harsh scraping sound. Guan Yu was breathing heavily, with fragments of steel bars still in his fists, and blood dripping down his legs, mixing with acid rain and burning out white smoke. Jingxian held the empty medical box tightly, as if holding on to her last hope. Xiaowei raised her stick high, her eyes were like a wolf, and the acid rain hit her mask with a sizzling sound. Boss, this fort is an old-fashioned military fort that scans for living heat sources. Guan Yu growled, his knees weakened but he managed to stand upright, but it doesn't recognize people, it only recognizes numbers. The corpses are coming, girls, don't let them touch the door first, I'll block it, you think of a way. He shook off Jingshuan's support, rushed forward, grabbed a broken road sign on the ground as a shield with his bare hands, and smashed at the first corpse that rushed towards him. The muffled sound of broken bones echoed in the rain. He grinned, his teeth chattering in pain. Come on, you piece of rotten flesh. I have a broken leg, but my heart is still hard. Jingshuan's heart tightened, and she threw the empty box over her shoulder and pulled out the old radar pen from her waist. She picked it up from the medical ruins and now it can only be used as a signal transmitter. Guan Yu, don't touch the wound. Junjie, is the communication module still there? There is an emergency channel at the stronghold, let's call out prove that we are living people, not corpses. As she spoke, she pressed the button on the pen and emitted a short buzzer, trying to interfere with the scanning of the fort. Xiaowei took up the position on the flank, and the stick swept across the leg of a corpse. The splash of acid rain made her armor smoke. Sister, brother Guanyu, I will protect you. Junjie, from the city to here, we are not corpses, we are a team. Hurry up, the rain will burn through the skin. Junjie nodded, his mind unfolding like an engineering drawing. He took out the communication chip from the remains of the armor. It was modified by him in the sewer. It only had half a bar of electricity left, but it was enough to send a string of codes. Fidgeting with his fingers quickly, the interface flickered, and he whispered to it, "Here are the heroes, the Fortress Survivor team, bringing the wounded to ask for help. For people from the heat source, non-infected, the code is Alpha 7-9, confirm." The signal was sent, and the red light of the turret stopped and turned to yellow scanning. The corpses surged up, and 3 of them pounced on Guanyu at the same time. He blocked one with a street shield and knocked over the other with his fist, but the third claw scratched his arm, tearing a bloody gash, and the pain at the edge of the virus was like fire. Damn it, these claws are poisonous. Boss, is the door open? I can't survive the second wave. It's open. The signal is on. Junjie shouted. The red light of the fort went out, and the iron door slowly slid open, revealing the lights and several figures inside. The stronghold guards, holding laser guns, rushed out and shot at the group of corpses behind them. In the rain curtain, lasers were like lightning, corpses roared intermittently, and the last mutated corpse was burned to black charcoal by the guards' gunfire. The team stumbled through the door, and the barrier behind the door buzzed into action, blocking out the storm and acid rain. Junjie took his last look at the ruins outside, with corpses struggling in the rain. Then the door was sealed and everything fell silent. Inside the stronghold is a renovated old warehouse. The air is warm and smells of disinfectant. The leader of the guard, a middle-aged man with a beard, glanced at them. Alpha 7-9? The signal from the fortress, yes. You are the first batch to break out from the center of the city. You are awesome. Come on, the medical area first. There is no shortage of resources, but the infection must be checked. He patted Junjie on the shoulder, with respect in his eyes. Boy, look at your armor, it looks like a beggar's outfit, but your eyes are bright, engineer. The team was helped into the medical shed. Jingxian was the first to breathe a sigh of relief and throw down the empty box. Thank God. Guanyu, he is seriously injured and has acid rot. He has run out of virus inhibitors. I have to borrow your inventory. The doctors and nurses rushed over and pushed the cart. Jingxian immediately took over and directed while checking Guanyu's leg. This wound is deeply ablated, incision and detoxification. First use broad-spectrum antiviral treatment. I will do the surgery, you will assist. Her hand was as steady as a rock, and the needle inserted into Guanyu's vein. He groaned and grinned. Girl, be gentle. I am not a porcelain doll, but thank you for saving my life from the storm. You are the team's stabilizing needle. Xiaowei sat slumped aside, still holding the stick tightly. The guard handed him hot water, and she drank it. The heat flowed down her throat and warmed her throat. Sister, brother Guanyu, hold on. I used to think that I was a ghost in the shadows, but now, let's live together. Here you go. Guanyu turned his head and softened his eyes. Girl, don't think about those bad things. You saved our whole team by fixing the alloy on the bridge. I'm not teaching you a lesson. From now on, you will have a place in this stronghold. Junjie sat against the wall, his body temperature alarm still buzzing, but the heater calmed him down. He looked at the team, and images from the beginning flashed through his mind, from the helplessness of being alone in the fortress when refitting equipment, to leading them through every step of the zombie tide and storm. From an engineer who only knew how to weld iron, to the current leader not because of guns or fists, but because of faith in them, which welds people's hearts together. The guard leader came over and handed the hot soup. Boy, your code saved lives. The stronghold's resources are scattered, the generator is old, and the barrier chip is unstable. Are there engineers? We lack people to integrate. Junjie took the soup, the hot air hit his face, and nodded. I'll do it. Give me the toolbox and blueprints, and start with the cooling system. The heat wave in the city taught me that heat-resistant alloys can strengthen the barrier. He stood up, his legs were still weak, but his eyes were firm. In the next few hours, he immersed himself in the core cabin of the stronghold, dismantling the old generator and integrating the chips and alloy wires removed from the armor. Jing Xian built a medical system nearby, organized the drugstore, and trained local medical staff. The virus mutates quickly, so we need to build an isolation area. Use your scanner and add my detoxification formula. Guan Yu is injured, and the preventive vaccine must be promoted to the entire team. Guan Yu was carried to the recovery bed, and the infusion tube was fully connected, but he refused to lie down and insisted on sitting up. Boss, leave me alone. I will recover quickly, and I will patrol the wall tomorrow. There is a shortage of guards at the stronghold, so I will be the pillar. The doctors and nurses laughed at him for being brave, but no one dared to underestimate the fire in his eyes. Xiao Wei came over and helped Jing Xian distribute the medicine. Sister, I want to learn some basic bandaging. In the future, if the team expands, I won't be a burden. Night fell, the storm roared outside, but the lights were brightly lit inside the stronghold. Junjie wiped the sweat from his forehead, the generator rotated steadily, and the buzz of the barrier became 30% stronger. He walked back to the medical shed, where the team sat in a circle and shared hot soup and dry food. Guan Yu's leg is bandaged and his face is a little rosier. Jing Xuan's medical stand has begun to take shape, and Xiao Wei's stick has been replaced by the stronghold's training stick. The guards also joined in and listened to their stories about the dangerous routes in the city. Starting from the fortress, I thought I was a lone wolf, Junjie said, his voice low but warm. I only know how to modify equipment and hide behind the interface. When the zombie tide came, I welded traps. When the storm started, I dismantled the armor and repaired the bridge. But Guan Yu's blood, Jing Xuan's needle Guan, Xiao Wei's replacement made me understand that the end is not carried by one person, but by everyone welding together. He looked at them with light in his eyes. I changed from a survivor to a leader, not because of my genius, but because of my team, not my blood, but my fearlessness. Jing Xian held his hand and smiled with tears. Junjie, you have saved us countless times with your wit, but your heart is the core of the equipment. After Guan Yu recovers, I will build the medical treatment in this stronghold. There will no longer be a shortage of resources, everyone can support it. Guan Yu slapped the table, his injured leg still hurt, but he didn't care. Boss, you are right. I retired from the army that year. I thought the battlefield was over, but I didn't expect that the end would be the real test. Now, I am the pillar of defense, and you are the head, and we will guard this house together. Xiao Wei nodded, with bright eyes. I thought there was no future when I crawled out of the mud of betrayal, but now I stand upright as a team. In the end, we are hope. The leader of the guard raised a glass. Hot water is wine, welcome to join. The suburbs are safe, but there are still storms and corpse tides outside. Tomorrow, we will expand, farming, patrolling, new equipment. Your experience is the blueprint. Everyone laughed. Guan Yu told the joke about smashing corpses on the bridge. Jing Xian complained that he was trying to be a hero. Xiao Wei showed stick moves. Junjie listened, and a long-lost peace filled his heart. From the despair of the ruins of the city to the reunion under the lights, they not only survived, but also planted new roots. Outside the window, the storm subsided and the stars dimmed. The team dispersed to rest. Junjie took one last look at everyone, then turned and walked towards the workshop. Tomorrow, there will be new challenges, but now, they are united and the shadow of doom is no longer so heavy. Hope, just behind this humming barrier, is waiting for them to open.